Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with James Farley,
Hello.
Sean Bell,
Hello.
and it's the man of the night time, Matt Murray. It's the man of the night time.
Can't believe we're
Where's it
going to
gonna
stay
be?
in for one recording.
I know.
Unbelievable.
With all
Hey.
of the things that
Hey,
he
everybody.
gets to do. The
How's it going?
things that he gets up to. You
Don't
all
do
right?
any things.
You all right, Matt?
Yeah, right, yeah. How you
Hello,
doing?
everyone, and welcome to Shut Up. Very special episode of the Computer Game Show. It's not a normal episode, of course not. No, it is the last show before our Game of the Year show. Today we will be picking the 16 games plus 4 wildcards that go through to next week's Game of the Year show. That will be happening a little bit later. You got that to look forward to, but of course we've still got our Patreon producers to get through first, and they are Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights and Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gasman, Rocketman76, Smooth Monkey, Richard Sawyer, Mary, Xmas, Shannon and Ryan, Love John and Maxine, Jackie Sniper, Sam Higton, Thomas, Stan, Philip with an F, Cutty, Steve Lee, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Man, Tri-State, Jack Oven, Jonathan Edwards, No Longer a Freeloader, Grey Drahon Claw, Ramalaptar, Angry Baboom, Colin the Carwanker Smith, Sean Richens, Lee Keybottom, Milk Turtle Soup, Tri-State, My Dog Skip, Luke Summer Hayes, not just a friend but my lover, Lots of Love, Merry Bastard, Xmas, Dean Cunt. Thank you so much for going full Nels. You too can go to patreon.com/TCGS and go full Nels yourself. Go for Nels for Christmas. Look at what you see. That's a song that I'm going to take to the charts, baby. There are other tiers there. Patreon.com/TCGS. Of course, we've got our Patreon Christmas party on Sunday, the 22nd of December at 9 p.m. That's for the Smashing It tier or the Smishing It tier. Go sign up for that tier if you want to take part. What it is a big Zoom call, basically. You'll get a link and you can come and join us for a chit chat before Christmas. Last year's was incredible, so make sure you're there this year if you're on the Smashing It tier.
So just to clarify on that, so we've sent the details out now on Patreon to watch it, but to join the call, those call details will be going live on the night. So just wait for that.
And
And
watch
you
it
can
without contributing.
you can watch,
join
or you can get
without-
right involved.
Yeah, you can join without having your camera on.
Or you
You
can
just
join without
listen to it.
contributing if you want to
You
really.
can join with your camera on and just stare at us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
If that's
stare
what
at
you're
us if you
into,
want.
I'm not judging.
I mean, so am I.
No, do
You've
what
paid
do
for the
what you feel.
privilege.
Matt, I've
Do
got
what
a
you feel.
question about the
Mhm.
promotional material around that event. What do you mean about me being sick? I was there last year, I'm sure, for that.
Oh, I think you were probably. Why?
Yeah, he was.
Just a little light-hearted comment on Instagram, James.
I don't get that. Like, you just like, is James going to be sick again? I wasn't sick last time.
I meant
don't-
sick as in cool.
Yeah, like wicked.
Might do a skateboard trick or something.
Yeah,
You know?
do a kickflip.
If that's what you meant, then that's fine.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We will see about that. But let's see what the listeners thought of last week's show. Matt, can we get to the feedback? Let's go.
Ricky has messaged, hello, it come up a couple of times now, but I wanted to correct you that the punchline to the joke isn't Chernobyl fall off, but Chernobyl fallout, as in nuclear fallout. Much love from Rick.
Thanks,
Sorry,
Rick.
Ricky, you've embarrassed yourself there. You got it wrong. It's Chernobyl fall off.
Yeah.
That's the
I'm
joke.
not
so you've got
rising
that
to
one
it.
wrong.
I'm not. It's too close to Christmas.
just-
I'm not getting upset.
It just flows better, doesn't it? You know, you chop
Yeah,
it
it's
down,
always
it's
been
a
fall
better
off for me.
joke. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fall off. It's funnier.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry,
Oh,
Ricky.
it falls out. Falls
So
out. of
sorry
what?
about
It doesn't
this
make
lot.
sense. It's
Yeah.
rubbish. Next.
Yeah. Alex79, hello there. I'd like to respond to Luke Summerhays, or whatever his name is completely mugging me off in last week's feedback section. Thanks for the info, re Aztecs and Incas. I always appreciate learning, but you have made me look like a right fool in front of my favourite podcast. To rectify this, I challenge you to a duel. January 11th, outside Wembley Stadium. I'll dress as an Aztec and you can dress as an Incan if you love them so much, and we can fight until one of us starts crying. I thought afterwards perhaps we could make a day of it and go for a burger and look around the museum. Reply via the podcast if interested. Thanks, lads. Always appreciate you all from Alex.
Can I stop there for one moment
Is it? I think I think I know what you're going to say. Go on.
Matt, is your audio all right, mate?
Yeah,
don't
I was
know,
getting
why?
some sort of clicks.
It's like real clicky.
Um,
5:30.
I don't know.
I'll do an edit point. One sec. Yeah, no, it's pretty bad, man. I don't
Oh,
know
right.
if it's coming out. If it's
I
not
mean, it
coming out
stopped
of your
doing it
local
now.
recording, then all good. But no, it was still doing it.
Oh, was
So
it?
it's really bad now.
it's using.
Oh, it's stopped
Okay.
doing it on mine. So that
Shall I
suggests that
leave
it's
the
just a
call?
connection thing.
Yeah, try redoing the call.
I'll leave the call. I'll keep recording now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
Notes.
You right, James?
Yeah, I'm great.
Hello.
Hello. It seems fine just listening to my ears, but
Okay, cool. Just listening to your ears.
listening it
Okay.
with my ears, it seems fine.
Okay. I don't. Have you listened back to your recording? Suppose you can't, can you?
No to call me that, and no, I
Yeah, I
haven't.
was going to say it's out of order.
I'm sure
Apparently,
it's
it sounds fine on Twitch as well. I think we're all right.
Should we? Is
Okay,
it worth
cool.
the risk?
All right.
It sounded fine to me, honestly. I didn't hear anything. So
Maybe it's a connection thing then. Let me just give a quick speed check because mine was acting up last week, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, I heard it click a couple of times and then it's stopped again. So
Click in what way? Then you
It's
just
just like a audio click. Yeah, no, I'm pulling down. I'm pulling down bare internet, bro. It's not me. Okay, all right. Okay, let's. So you
Let's
just
hope
finished
it's-
that.
fine.
All right, let's go. Just read the last line. Thanks, lads.
Okay. Thanks, lads. Always appreciate y'all from Alex.
Sorry about that, Alex, but it's the risk you run. And if you're hurt by the one bad comment correcting you, how do you think we feel every week? Every week.
it's actually
It
a wonder
is
we
too
don't get
much,
corrected
isn't it?
on more things.
Yeah, that's because
Considering how long we have to speak for every week.
Sean,
Rolling
that
the
sounds
dice
like a
every
line
time
that you've told yourself every
I
week.
think people are just
Actually,
given up.
it should be worse than this, if anything.
Yeah.
But
No,
we're
people
so
just given
good.
up.
That,
You know, just
yeah, I think that's part as well.
what's the point at this point?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, Connor, long time listener, first time caller, etc., etc. I've been doing what I think a lot of listeners do this time of year and re-listening to previous GOTY shows in time for the festive TCGS season. I thought I'd share two particular highlights from 2020 and 2021. In 2020's show, David announced, "My tactic this year is to ... just listen to everyone," which garnered a hearty laugh from an already inebriated James Farley. Then in 2021, James couldn't recall the protagonist's names in It Takes Two, and when caught Googling the answer, Death's Door sealed the win.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
I
we were
forgot
talking
about
about that recently where you said, "What? How did that not win?"
Yeah,
And
it should have
you're-
won. That game should have
Yeah,
won.
but
It's
you
your
were
fault,
the problem.
so-
It was your fault.
Yeah. It was because I couldn't remember, could I? I couldn't remember
No.
what
You
'cause
couldn't
didn't
remember
you say
the
something
names of
like,
the league.
if you can tell me the names of the lead characters,
Yeah,
then I'll
'cause
vote
I said,
for
you
it.
said it's the best game. It's the blah, blah, and I went, tell you what, if you could tell me the names of the lead characters, I'll switch my vote. And
Yeah.
you couldn't. And
Do you know,
no,
I can't remember now.
yeah, of course you can't.
I mean, it's cheating really because the main character in Death's Door doesn't have a name.
Mm.
So if you ask me, oh well, what's the main character in Death's Door called? I'm like, I don't have one, so it's fine.
It was the
Can't-
better
Can't pull
game.
me up on that. It
Death's
was
Door
the
was
Yeah.
a better game.
No,
Definitely.
It absolutely
It was. I mean, It
Definitely.
Takes Two was absolutely brilliant, but Death's Door was the better game.
I played-
that's the
I've
winner
played
for
It
me.
Takes Two through several times. I've not gone back to Death's Door. It was good. But
It means nothing.
That doesn't mean
That
it's
means
not
absolutely
good.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Connor continues. Listen to the
Sorry
2020
for the
show.
listeners involved there. James just shook his head and had a swig of beer. Like that doesn't work when you do that. Go on, Matt.
Listening to the 2020 show made me realise the best thing about the TCGS GOTY shows getting curated end-of-year recommendations when game sales are in full swing. I remembered buying Hades after fissioning the 2020 show and listening to ever-loving shite and playing the ever-loving shite out of that game, which helped distract from the horribly depressing start to 2021. All of this is to say, can't wait for this year's GOTY and to highlight some of the games you discussed this year could help someone for a shit time in early 2025, or be the next all-timer that someone discovers. He doesn't do anything.
can
Does
we
it-
can we
doesn't
have
do anything?
can we
I
have
don't think we ever
fissioning as the name
explained
of the
what
show
that was
this week?
from.
Oh,
He
people
doesn't
know
do
what that's
anything.
from, don't they?
don't
That
know
would
if
be
they
like
do.
saying succulent Chinese meal, and people would be and then saying, "Oh no, there's this video about her."
No, because I
If you
remember
don't-
Chris messaging me like, "Why does James keep saying This.
It
What's-
doesn't do anything.
He doesn't do anything.
It was. I was talking about this the other night. So, search Orson Welles advert on YouTube, and you will find some outtakes from an advert where Orson Welles was promoting a Californian champagne, and he's hammered, and he doesn't know what's going on, and he's clearly tired as well. And at one point they go, "Action, Orson, please." And he sort of just sits there looking at the camera and he goes, "He doesn't do anything," pointing to the guy next to him.
What I love about the videos, as you say, like they are
the
outtakes,
French.
but I can't even envisage what it was supposed to be like.
No,
There's just no way it was ever going to be
I
good.
think I have seen the final
Okay.
final cut of it. Yeah, but and he's barely in it. It's like very, very briefly in it. There is a Californian champagne from
is a
Champagne Jean. It was fermented in the bottle. And they go, cut. Oh, the French. All right. It's one of my favourite videos of all time. That it's
It is
unbelievable.
a good one.
Yeah, there is that pressure, right? There is that pressure. Let's be honest. There's that pressure about the GOTY show, and there's always, we really like them. We're really proud of them. We think they're funny. We think they're interesting. We think they're stupid, and I think they also, let us talk about a game at length about a game that we really love from the year. So they do serve a purpose on that front as well. But there's always been these like incredible moments in these GOTY shows, and sometimes you go into these going, "Are we going to have that again?" And I don't know what it is. So far, we've been all right. Touch wood. There's always been something that brings it out, and maybe this year.
It's because the landscape changes every year, doesn't it? The games that come out and what we thought of them, and whether there are ones we all rallied around or we've all got our own little corners we want to fight, and it's never quite the same.
And the deals are always between different people as well. It never seems to be consistently two people like ganging up on other people. I love it. I'm looking forward to next week, but also fearing it. Matt. Yeah, we're losing Matt. Something's going on, boys.
Yeah,
Hang on.
he's frozen.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
damn.
he was really. It was really shaky.
Yeah,
it was
Lost
really
is like
clicky.
weeks.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that was bad. Even I got that
Yeah,
one.
it's Matt's internet, I think.
Sorry, Matt. We just got about 50 seconds worth of audio in 2 seconds, then it went all weird.
Yeah, can you hear me?
You're really breaking up, and you're
Yeah.
like the camera. Is it your internet?
Can you hear me?
Like,
Yeah,
like
we can. We can.
No, it's
hear
not
you.
me.
we don't even know
It's
if
so
it's in
delayed.
sync with what we're saying.
Yeah.
Hang on, it will come back in a second. It's my PC.
I don't know if it will come back in a sec. It's been bad for like a minute or so.
From my PC. Hang on. Come on, PC.
It sounds like an internet thing more than a PC
Yeah, it
thing,
does.
right?
Yeah, it does.
No. My whole PC is frozen up.
Oh, cool.
Okay, I'll be back. I can't even get to like Task Manager, which says everything.
How
Should we
about?
stop recording?
Yeah,
and
let's
let
stop
Matt do a
recording.
restart.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
I've stopped recording.
Me too.
Right, so-
Matt, you do a restart. If that doesn't work, maybe you can connect on your phone and record using your. Although surely that's going to fuck with the
I was
recording.
going to say if
it's
PC's
frozen.
being a fucker, then
Oh no. Sorry guys, we've not had one of these for a while actually.
no, it's been a long time, isn't it?
Yeah.
What are we on? 431.
431-1. I'm putting. Hello everyone. Sorry, this happens every now and then. We haven't had one of these for a while, but every now and then, technology gets the best of us, and it fucks everything up. Unfortunately, it seems to have chosen
One of the most important episodes of the year.
Yeah, one of the most important episodes of the year. What if you turn your camera off, Matt? Does that help?
I think if his whole PC's shitting it, then
I'm aware.
It's
of
not my
how
camera,
much
it's
that
everything.
fucking
Like entire
destroys-
computer piece.
Yeah, no,
It's like,
I'm just
you know.
trying to release a little bit of processing power on there. I know how fucking intensive it can be. As a Mac owner who had an Intel,
I
Mac
need
at
to get
some
this
point.
Audacity thing saved first.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Uh,
Take your time. If we have
okay.
to start again, we have to start again. It's only 13 minutes in.
Yeah, yeah.
We shouldn't have to, but in fact, are we back? No.
It's
It's a
better.
bit laggy, isn't
Can
it?
you
Bit
hear
of a
me?
delay, but is that because you've stopped
It is
recording?
better, but you're on a massive delay, yeah.
Possibly. Anyway, I'll probably restart anyway just to
Yeah,
be
give it a
safe.
restart, lid.
Okay, I will. I've saved this. I will restart.
Cool.
For fuck's sake.
All right, in a bit. How are we all doing? Best take that song. Never forget where you're coming from. Never. But that's my answer to that.
I agree.
You don't know any others, do you?
No, not really. Apart from the ones from when we were kids.
You don't know.
Could
You
it be
have a little
magic?
vibe for me.
Well, that's
Have a
it.
little vibe for me. Have a little bit down.
I don't even know. What's that?
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, yeah.
Dreadful. Absolutely dreadful.
Yeah. Film of the
year.
year. Oh, God, what have I seen? that actually
I'm
came
not
out
up
this
to
year?
date with movies.
Yeah, I've seen nothing recently. It's
What's
just
come out this
nothing.
year?
We
Oh
saw-
God,
we
we
saw-
watched. You know what we did watch?
Go
I was
on.
going to say this for the bonus show. We'll do it again on the bonus show. I watched Dear Santa, the new Jack Black Christmas
Oh, yeah.
movie for
How's that?
Netflix. Absolutely appalling. It's dreadful.
What fucking happened to Jack Black, man?
Yeah. It's not
Like he
great
does any old
recently, is it?
shit now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think
sad.
he's getting some money in, isn't he? Before the end of his career, I think. He's just lost a payday through Tenacious D. That seems
Yeah,
to
'cause
have
of the whole-
Is
gone now.
that still not?
Yeah,
not
although
healed?
he's in it. I don't know if it was recorded before that incident, but he's in
Right.
it. Craig
Okay.
Gass or whatever his name is.
Damn.
But yeah, that is not a good film.
We saw Paddington in Peru yesterday.
Any good? I've heard
Fine.
mixed things.
Yeah.
It's
I've
a
heard
shame because that
mostly
second one
bad
was so
things about
good
it,
and
yeah.
they didn't need to do another, did
Well,
they?
yeah, this is it. It felt a bit weird going in. I didn't realize it's been like 7 years since the last one as well.
No, really?
Yeah, I
Holy
assumed
shit, I
Paddington
didn't
was
know
fairly
that.
recent. That's 2017.
I'm really
Yeah.
looking forward to the new Wallace and Gromit. I'm gonna make
Yes.
sure we watch all the Wallace and Gromits before they're all on BBC iPlayer. So we're gonna watch all of them before the film.
I really like that. Even though the new one's on Netflix, it's on telly first, and I feel like it's actually going to be an event.
Oh, I thought it was the cinema. Is it on telly?
Yeah, so it's on BBC on Christmas Day, and
Brilliant.
then it's Netflix from like the 3rd of January, I think.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, I'm gonna watch
And I
that.
was
then.
thinking, like, when was the last time we were all like, "Oh, you're going to watch this on this day when it's on"? Do you know what I mean? Like that's
we
not
don't
a thing
usually,
anymore.
Yeah, we don't usually
Um,
watch it on
So that's
Christmas
what I
Day.
I've probably fucking turn out I'm wrong now.
It's actually out on Game Pass.
What's the fucking film I'm gonna go and see? I'm going uptown to see a film in January at the cinema. Have you heard of? Here we go.
Yeah, and that was the second time I got crabs. Yeah, but they're back. Goodbye. Hey,
Who are you on the
Even
phone
when
to?
things are falling apart, he's
He's on it. He's
yeah.
on
he's on it. He's on it.
Worked
Yeah,
it
sorry.
into a
I
bit.
think my PC's back now, but
Cool.
sorry about that one.
Yeah,
Don't know.
You look back.
Maybe I opened a tab and my PC decided to shit the bed.
Matt, favourite take that song?
Everything changes probably.
No. To live and
I mean,
die in
Prey.
LA,
I
that's the
fucking
film
love
I
Prey.
wanna
Was
see.
great. I mean, there's so many good ones. I mean, Back for Good, obviously, all-time classic. I quite like Patience. Anyway, we should stop. That new Rob Williams movie looks rubbish though,
Yeah, that's a strange one, isn't it?
and I like Take That and Robbie, but yeah, it looks really bad.
Yeah, so yeah, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, yeah, Christmas Day on BBC, and then Netflix globally from the 3rd of January.
Nice. Go watch that.
Oh what? Oh okay, but okay, BBC on Christmas Day, nice. Okay, look forward to that.
In 2024. Yeah, I haven't watched Bad Santa. Dear Santa, absolute dog shit. Don't watch that. Absolute shite.
I watched the new Lindsay Lohan movie yesterday. The Christmas one wasn't as good as their previous ones, but
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't-
Lindsay
didn't know it was one.
Lohan. Lindsay Lohan. Do you like that?
We watched 8-Bit Christmas.
Very good.
oh yeah, I
Fucking
haven't watched that
so
yet
good,
this
isn't
year
it?
yet.
Still really good.
Yeah, I'm not
Surprisingly.
watching it this year because I don't want to overdo it. But those actors, the kids in it, this is what's annoying because when you watch Dear Santa, the kids in it are dreadful, and the
Right.
kids in that are so good,
Really
like,
good.
so good. Yeah, 8-Bit Christmas. If you ever get a chance to watch that, people, I cannot recommend it enough.
I was-
It is the absolute best.
I was thinking, because we always say, like, why wasn't this bigger? Do we know why it's rated 12?
What?
No, I know why it's not bigger because it was only on It was a Paramount Plus
Oh, was
subscription
it?
thing. That was
Okay.
it. And then it went. You could buy it on Amazon in the UK, which we did because it was like 12 quid or whatever.
Yeah, so we got it.
There was no marketing because it was just on Paramount Plus. There was no marketing for it over here. Yeah, I guarantee it would have been massive over here if if they'd have properly marketed that and released that in the cinemas over here, it would be this big, huge film because it's so good. The reviews were crazy, like really positive.
But no, I just
I
wondered if
never-
it's because it was rated 12. Because I didn't
Maybe.
hear any swearing in it. No
There's
violence.
a lot of vomit.
There's some vomit. Yeah.
There's a massive
the
sex
one-
scene.
there's the huge kid who does the King of the Hill thing, and he's like, but then even then, he's not actually like hitting any of the kids. He's just kind of pushing them back down the hill, right?
Well, what really makes me laugh is that so much that film, like the first time I watched it, I was like, I come away from it going brilliant, but why was that like adult in it that was the bully?
I assume he was
And then
held
you
back.
remember, no,
Oh, go on.
it's told from their
Okay.
perspective. His perspective as a kid, he was probably just a little bit bigger than them, but in his head, he was a fully grown man. So, and there's so much that film that you forget it's being told as a story, being like misremembered.
Yeah,
So that's why
unreliable
there's barely
narrator
any.
thing.
There's a running joke in it where the dad keeps hurting himself and going, "Oh gosh, darn it!" And because that's
God
not what he's
bless it,
really
yeah.
saying. It's just the story that he's telling his daughter. But yeah, it took Sean. It took me probably halfway through the second watch before I went. It is weird that he's like in a. Of course.
I just
Of course
assumed
he's
he was
not.
held back because that's the thing in American schools. But yeah.
Yeah, but not like 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, good film.
Yeah, it's a really good film.
Right.
Okay, are we back, Matt? Are we good? Are you
I
feeling
think
good?
so. Yeah. Where do we even get to? Oh, we did Connor. Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay, right.
So we
So
moved on
if
to
everyone
the-
hits for record,
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, Matt.
Matt.
And where were we up to? So we've done. Oh, we've done Connor.
Drunk
Was it
Connor.
GOTY highlights?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Let me try and pick up from where we were. There'll be some overlap, but so yeah, there's, when we do these GOTY shows, going into them, there's always that sort of fear that maybe it's not going to be up to the standards. But so far, the bloody format hasn't let us down. So
Yeah, but I get nervous. I'm nervous already because going back and listening to your old ones, like okay, how can it possibly be better than last year? And last year's one with the deals and everything was just something else.
it was the way. There was two things last year that I mean, at the time, honestly, genuinely, at the time, there's none of this is set up. I'm sure there are people out there that just won't believe me no matter what I say, but none of it is like pre-planned. I had no idea there was a deal going on, and then as I realised it during the show, I was like, hold on, started piecing it together. Like, that was great. And then also calling you, I think I said, if you vote against my game, I will vote for Cyberpunk in the fight.
Yeah.
It's just too good. So we got that next week. Honestly, I'm looking at my list of games that I want in the final, and I'm like, shit. There are more than 4 games that I want to be talking about next week, and that just shows. I don't want to say it's been a great year for gaming because horrendous layoffs and the industry's in tatters and all sorts is going on, right? And Sony thought they could release an £800 console,
And no games
But-
this year.
but yeah, no games. But the amount of games that I've enjoyed this year has been the highest it's been for a long time, actually.
Yeah.
like up to GOTY nomination standard. You know,
That's
which
the
is
thing.
not always.
It's like because I look at this, like what the list I've got here, right? And it's like there hasn't been a lot of ones which like everyone agrees is like amazing games, or like we've had like in the
Yeah,
previous
it's quite
years.
an open year, isn't it? I think.
But I look
Kind
at
of.
the ones I've got, and I just think, but these ones meant something to me. You know, maybe more so than they have done in previous years, which is pretty cool.
Well,
Yeah,
you
well,
know
that
how
was-
these drafts go, which we will be doing later. You know how these drafts go. It all relies down to on who gets pulled out of the hat first. And in fact, actually, I don't want to be pulled out of the hat first. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be pulled out last, but I wouldn't I wouldn't mind being pulled out third. I'll tell you that. I genuinely would.
Why?
Just to because I just want to make sure the ones that I want are in the hat or are in the show, and then I can pick the ones that are more personal to me.
That's true, yeah. Because if you go first, then the temptation is to dive on the ones you think other people that you know other people really liked, but then that uses up some of your picks for the stuff
Yeah.
that you really want to champion and you want to stick up for.
When you're this deep into the game, I don't know how many of these shows we've done now. Maybe this is our 5th or 6th.
Oh, more than that.
Well, no, 8.
More
I
than
mean,
that.
we're 8 years old, so.
Yeah.
Shit, right? So now you just think about this stuff on another level. You know, the first time it was like, oh, I'm going to pick my favourite 4 games.
It's like every year I'm like, no, I'm not strategizing. I'm not dealing with it. I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to pick my favorite games. I'm just going to play an honest game, and then every year something upsets the
Little
plan.
devil pops up on your shoulder, goes, Sean, if you vote for this, I'll vote for that. And you're like, yes, okay, I will then. Okay, next bit of feedback.
Yes, Ella Minnow P has messaged. Technically speaking, James's pronunciation of Chopper Chops was correct. The brand is Spanish, and it comes from the word chupar, pronounced chupar, which means to suck. The more you know. And yes, Dave, I know you live in England, so the English pronunciation is fine. Not to order me one of those. This is how you say chorizo, people.
LMNOP, no, you're wrong. You're wrong.
They've
one says
offered you
Chupa Chups.
an olive branch there, and you still just go, nah.
I'm not having it. I don't want an olive branch. Don't like olive branch.
He wants a chopper chop.
I want a chupa chup. No one says chupa chup. Technically, that's how you say it.
Hang on,
No,
so what is
isn't.
it? It's chopper chop. What is it? How do you say it?
No, it's not chopper chop, is it? Chopper chop.
It's chopper chop.
Technically.
Oh,
But, yeah.
whatever. I don't
But again, yeah, imagine.
It's not technically chupa chup. It's not. It's just not. They're called chopper chops. That's what everyone called them. It's what they were called on the adverts. It's what everyone called them.
in
Sean.
the UK, yes.
We're in the fucking UK.
Yeah, and that's what Element P has said. Like, of course it's fine to say Chopper Chops in England.
Yeah, but it's not fine to say
And you're
chupa chups in
still
England,
arguing
all right?
with them.
No, I'm
Yeah,
arguing with
chupa
you
chops.
now. You are the glass bottle in Indiana Jones. You've distracted me, and I'm coming straight for you, boy.
Chopper chop.
Next.
Luke Summerhays, hi lads. One of the best episodes in a while this week. I loved Sean's vitriol for Elon Musk. He deserves far worse, as do all the CEO class wankers you talk about. Guillotine is too good for them. I mean, pertinent. James as Santa made me laugh in such a way that I almost choked to death. The big man did a great job not blowing his cover. And this is my last chance this year. I will once again offer this suggestion. You should do wild cards first to make it more chaotic. That is from Long Box of Briefs, Loves a Toasty Maker, Size 8 Shoes, discovered Sean when Joe shouts out Midnight Resistance on the O&M podcast and stayed listening ever since. Fuck and appreciate y'all, Luke Summerhays.
You know when Luke says one of the best episodes in a while this week, that sums up my brain and how it works, because I go, what? That sounds negative to me. That sounds like Luke has been sitting there thinking this show's been shit now for a good 2 years. But
been
last
very
week was okay.
disappointed.
Last week you really started to pull it back together, guys. Well done.
I think Luke's suggestion of doing wild cards first is incredible. I think it's really good. I don't think it's as good as doing them last.
We don't mess with it. We don't mess with it.
No, we don't mess with it.
Because by doing it, and I understand you're saying more chaotic, it would, but then you would get loads of really worthy stuff just getting thrown in as
just
a wild
gone
card and then getting
straight
knocked
away.
out.
Yeah. It's a nice way of doing it, though. I do quite like that.
Yeah, I do like it.
you go.
Josh from Wigan. Hello, guys. I'm a Wigan Athletic season ticket holder. I have been for most of the last 20 years, and I can confirm I was there the day Dave's place went over the DW Stadium. It was fucking hilarious. Never much cared for West Ham, and there we won the World Cup / the West Ham way shite, and we all got a right laugh out of it. Up the Ticks and up the Lions. Josh.
Hey, I love that. Although they did beat us in the auto windscreen shields in, I think it was 94. Absolutely ruined my day.
What?
The auto windscreen shield final, Sean,
Yes,
at
obviously.
Wembley Stadium. Yeah,
It's all like sponsorship, Sean. It's like
Yeah.
it's like the Chad Valley Cup.
Yeah, or like paints, like the Johnston Pates Trophy.
Johnston
and-
Pates
I don't know what any of these things are. It's not
The
They're all the same
Rumbelows
thing.
League Cup.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just a sponsorship deal. Coca-Cola Cup.
A few years ago, no, that's not the same thing. A few years ago, it was the
Sponsor.
Papa John's Trophy.
Yeah.
I went to the Papa John's Trophy final, and Harry refused to eat Papa John's for a year because the referee added 8 minutes on when it should have been less in the Sutton versus I can't remember who they played, but we were winning until the anyway. This must be really weird for like non-football fans when fans are like talking about the Carabao Cup and stuff like that. And you're like,
No one's
"Ooh, that
actually
sounds
drunk a
exotic."
can of Carabao, have they? I mean,
don't
who's
think
actually...
I preferred it when it was the Rumbelows Cup.
Yes.
No, didn't they call
Yeah.
it the milk cup at one point?
It was
the
the milk
bottle
cup, yeah.
or something. Yeah, the milk cup.
Yeah, when Big Milk had all their money.
Well, I assume that's where the milk, because when obviously we did the milk race, but obviously that was a cycling event that used to take place. So I assume that was like a sponsorship thing as well.
Yeah, most of these things are. And what's even worse now is most clubs are changing the name of their stadium to a sponsorship.
Yeah, I'm not a
And
fan of
it's
that.
really awful. But there you go. All right.
Okay, codename Tommaso Gardeno has messaged. Buongiorno, lads?
Buongiorno.
No, that's the one. Reading my last email, don't feel bad about not reading it to your kids anymore. I don't even have any... Oh, fucking hell. Okay, well, I'll start again. Don't feel bad about not reading to your kids anymore. I don't even have any myself. Due to James's disrespectful comments about smashing it every time, I illegally downloaded his book 20 times. That'll learn him, or his publisher. I like the mix of new and older games, even if you also struggle about remembering what game you've been talking about by the end of it. Keep up the wood Gurk. Would you become Santa if you killed him, like in the Santa Claus? Thanks. Lots of things to unpack there.
There's a lot to go over there, isn't there? Yeah. James is sweating. James, do you want to answer all questions in a row there?
I don't know. What? Okay, I'm trying to figure out what are questions, what are statements. It's a bit difficult.
It's mostly statements, then just one question at the end, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you become Santa if you killed him?
If that's the deal, then I'd be fine with that.
No,
I won't
I don't
kill him on
think it's-
purpose.
No, I don't
I'd
think
be
it
well
is the
happy
deal.
to
I
be
just-
Santa. I mean,
Yeah.
just one day a year, isn't it? Work.
No, you fucking wouldn't.
Yeah. I could be jolly for one day of the year, David.
Barely
Mate,
manage
you
it
can
for
barely
2 hours.
walk over. Yeah, you can barely walk over from your sofa to the microphone.
Yeah, but exactly. But this is for one day of the year. I have to do this shit every week. It's like like if it was one.
Not every week.
Can I just say it's an honour and
No.
a privilege
Come
to be
on,
able
I
to
have
do
not
this.
been off since
The
the
last
beginning
time.
of the year. Yeah.
Right.
it's-
Since the beginning of the year.
Beginning of the year.
Okay,
What?
okay. Since I was last off, I've not
Since-
been off.
Yeah.
June, July-ish.
You were off a lot this year, though, James.
I was off about 3 or 4 times, I think, if you look back, David.
No, you were not.
Yeah, have a look
In
back.
2 months, you had 6 weeks off.
Yeah, it was
You did.
ridiculous
You
over
had 2
summer. I
weeks
barely
off,
saw
and then
you.
you had a whole month off.
Did I go to China this year? I can't remember.
Fucking hell, what a
We
question.
had listeners. We had listeners who didn't know you were part of the show until
Did
you
I
came
go
back
to
and then
China
made out you
this
were.
year? I can't remember.
I can't
Do you
remember.
remember the running joke where I just kept saying and returning? Or was that last year? I don't know. It's just every
that's
time
every
I
year,
scroll
David.
back and
Okay,
listen
okay.
to an old show.
Maybe
you're
the listeners
not on
can
it.
go back, have a listen back, see how many I've been off this year, and compare it
but
with the
last
Why
time
did
others.
we
someone
have
did
to do
that,
that?
James, last time that someone did that, you got
I'm
really
talking-
upset about
I'm
it.
talking about
remember?
this year. I'm talking about this year. Let's have a listen back.
Okay, well,
No,
you
you've
know
been off
someone's
quite a
going
lot
to do
this
that,
year.
and you're going to get upset about it now. No, you know what he's doing? He's worked out that we've not got feedback next week. That's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well, we'll save it for when you come back.
we'll make sure
something.
that goes in the first episode next year. It's fine.
There's always something. All right, go on then.
Tiny Tim has messaged, Dear sirs, as a 14-year-old footballer, I don't blame Mr. Turner for ditching the panto. My stepdad did the same when my team presented a Scooby-Doo Christmas the other week. Because of my size, I was playing Scrappy-Doo and the second striker was Scooby. My mum told me that he went to talk to the coach about not being able to hear a word I was saying because of the dog voice and the cheap mic I was using. Coach didn't appreciate the show note and asked him to sit down. So my stepdad just left. We found him eating at the local Chippies with Mary's boy child playing in the background. Fucking Christmas.
Did I ever tell you about that? That just reminds me of the story. Did you ever tell you about the story that I went to see a band with John Denton in Bournemouth, and it was in a really bad venue, and the audio was the worst I've ever heard in a venue. The worst I'd ever heard. You couldn't even hear the lead singer. So John went, you know what? I've had enough. About 3 songs in, I've had enough. I'm going to go and have a word with a guy at the sound desk. He walked over and he said the first red flag was that all of the things were set at the same level. Like all of the faders were at exactly the same level. And he went,
Professional.
we can't hear the lead singer. What's going on? And he just put one of the faders up slightly. That was it.
I imagine if he was like, but no, look, I've set them all to normal, so
Yeah. See, look. Perfect.
fine.
Perfectly balanced.
They're all on 5. Absolutely shocking.
Not too loud,
That
not
just
too
reminded me of
quiet.
that. Yep. All right. Next.
Okay, the Pump Detective has messaged. Good day, fine brethren. 'Tis I, the Pump Detective, and I'm here with the most incredible news of another suspected rear door exhalation.
You're right, man.
I just wanted to make sure we're safe. Upon scouring...
The fact that the pump detective was sitting there going, guys, saying to his mates the night before, I've got this great idea for a character on TCGS. on what? TCGS, the computer game show. But I thought the brand was TCGS and the podcast was the game. It is, don't worry about it. Listen, I've got this great idea for a character. I'm going to unleash it on those boys tomorrow. He's sitting there getting all excited. Let's hear more from the pump detective.
Upon scouring your latest audio dialogue recording, I was both surprised and delighted to detect a new case of sphincter emissions. Behold, Exhibit A. Adjust your recording to precisely 1 second and 28 minutes past the hour. That must be 1 minute and no. I don't know.
So I'm so glad that's happened to you, Matt, because I went looking for this earlier to make sure I'd confirmed who it was, and yeah, for some reason this just completely set off my numerical dyslexia. I had to read it back about 4 times and be like, what?
Yeah. So yes, is it 1 hour and 28 minutes past the hour?
28
Yes.
minutes.
I
in a
assume.
second, yeah.
Mr. Bow is exclaiming, so you probably just won't bother, at which point a disturbance most foul is heard to emerge with startling clarity from the back passage of the culprit. And who's this culprit, you might ask? For I would not be the great pump detective were it not for my amazing deduction skills. Or allow me to share with you that the gusts blew from the annular ring of none other than Mr. James Farley. How can I make such an impressive and startling and accurate conclusion of this, you say? Well, it's always fucking James, isn't it?
Yeah, it is actually.
And here's Sean with the
piss
proof.
out of whoever's
Was it
come
me
up
again
with the
this
pump detective. Yeah,
Bad
go on.
news for the pump detective, because it wasn't James.
Is it me?
It was you.
Right. Okay, go on. Because I don't think I farted last week. But go on.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I'm not sure it was a fart.
It's funny you would admit it so
was-
quickly, though.
That's the problem, right? Because often these things get picked up as being that, but they're not that. Because sometimes when you move in your chair or whatever, it makes sounds.
Yeah.
Okay,
And also
but
when you fart.
You genuinely fart all the time, though, James.
When you
So I
move in your
can't-
chair, yeah.
Always make sure it's muted. Always make sure it's muted.
Apart from that time,
Not
it's
for the
3 hours
3 hour
long.
recording that I had to listen to.
That was a long time ago, David. I know it was traumatic, but it's like that was a long time ago.
Go on, let's hear it.
Oh no, so I haven't queued up the sample or anything. I'll just
what?
listen back to it. Well, because normally you just listen, I just look at it and go, oh yeah, it's James, and then we move.
Yeah, let's listen to it in slow motion. That's usually what happens.
But yeah,
isn't it?
it's definitely on Dave's audio. But as I said, I'm not sure if it's like a mouth squeak.
I can tell you exactly what it is if I listen to it because my memory is like that. It's 1:24 and 1 second.
1 hour 28 minutes.
28.
28. Okay, I'm nearly there. 1:20 because I can't get away with this. Here we go.
Right, because I constantly change it, because it's random. So
Right, so you might have to wait a few seconds. Here we go.
Frames, it is peeking at the next card in the deck and telling you what the next card you're going to draw is.
No,
Yeah, and
really?
this went for like 6 months or something, and the dev was just like, look, no one spotted this, so I'm just going to tell
So
you.
Sean
How
says
does
you
it
probably
tell
won't
you that?
just won't bother.
It's literally, it will be like, I think it literally comes up with like 6C or whatever, which would be 6 of clubs or whatever. But it's like, it's
Oh
very
my God,
fast, so you probably just won't bother. But
Well,
Oh my
God,
god,
that
that's
does
not.
sound like a fart.
That is not a moving in a chair. Bloody hell!
It's definitely not chair movement. I just wasn't sure if it was like a mouth sound.
No,
or
it's
a
not. It
hum.
might have been me
That
going.
is horrendous.
It might be me going. But I don't.
James
think
is
it
about
was.
to pass out.
I think that's more likely to be my arse, actually.
Can
I
you
must-
Do you
repeat
want me
that?
to isolate and export?
Can you?
And I'll send it to the group in a bit.
Yeah, it's your ringtone, absolutely.
Jesus
well-
Christ, David.
That was quite a big one. Well done, the pub detective. You foiled me again.
Can we
no,
send
they
this
thought it was
part in
James.
for the Independent Podcast Awards?
Yes,
for next
please.
year?
Yeah, that's going in the folder, isn't it?
Make sure we edit and put some like do around in the
Yeah.
background. That gets a fucking award, wouldn't it?
It's
Right,
28
are we
minutes
done
long.
with feedback from
Yes,
this
that is
week's
it.
show?
Go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS. Leave your feedback, but we're not going to read it now until January.
Okay.
I just realised
news.
James hasn't put the news in the doc.
Oh yeah,
I did.
yeah, he has. No, it's there. It's right in front of me.
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, that's
Xbox
from
says it's
ages
still
ago.
blocked from selling and launching games on this Android app.
I did put this in yesterday.
That was
Oh
last week's app.
my
Last
God,
week's.
James!
How
Wow,
did that not
News.
happen? There you go.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
do it now.
you have one job.
Okay,
do
you're
it now,
absolutely
it's
right,
fine.
Sean. Well done.
Unbelievable.
That's in there.
Can you make the text smaller though?
Yeah,
No, it's because I
make
pasted it in, didn't I? Look, give me a second. I've got to work on the whole thing.
Mate, you've had a fucking week.
Control, Shift, and V, James.
I mean, look, I put in my games. Why didn't I do that? That's crazy. Anyway,
It's
It's not that crazy. It's you.
Everyone to listen at home
That-
be like, what?
that is the no. That is the first time I've ever done
People
that. Come
crashing
on.
their cars, just falling over in the street.
Oh, fuck off, Matt.
Let's
Come
go.
on then, let's go.
So, shall I do the news then? Yeah.
Yes.
Please.
No, actually, no. Let's get to what you've been playing. Go on.
So yeah, Life is Strange. Deck 9 have announced their second round of layoffs in 2024. So they laid off 20% of their staff in earlier 2024, but now they're having another round of layoffs. Mark Lyons, the CEO, he said, "Today we are sad to share the news that we must say goodbye to some of our talented team members. This was an extremely difficult decision and reflects the challenging times many companies in our industry are currently facing. We're extremely grateful to every individual who has dedicated their hard work, passion and commitment to making transformative entertainment with us. To those of you leaving the studio due to these changes, thank you for sharing your talents with us. We are proud of what we are able to accomplish together, and we are committed to supporting you in this transition in a way we can, in any way that we can. To the community, we ask for your support and understanding during this difficult time." So this is rather sad. I mean, IGN also have released. A while ago, IGN released like a quite extensive report on the studio's problems because apparently there were issues of toxicity, crunch, and hate speech and all sorts of stuff. But you can read that on IGN. And there's also no details so far of how many people are being let go at Deck 9. But that's a shame.
Yeah, it's sadly not a huge surprise. It's about like obviously at this point. I mean, we like Dave was saying before, the amount of layoffs this year has been absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I don't know what sales were like for this, but it's
I was
sort of we've
looking it
reached
up,
the point
actually.
that like it kind of doesn't necessarily matter, even if your game sold all right. Like most teams would be looking
Yeah.
to downsize at the end of a project. At this point,
Yeah, I was
and
looking at
shit.
it. Did you know the original Life is Strange sold 20 million copies across?
Did it?
Wow.
Platforms? Yeah, that's huge. I mean, significantly less here. I mean, the only data I can find, and I don't know, it's on Gamealytic, which I'm assuming is an analysis website. Reckons on Steam alone it sold around 140,000 copies, which is, in terms of revenue, that's quite a lot. I don't know what that is against development, but you can't trust that. You don't know what sort of money they need to hit to make it profitable and all sorts. But
There's nothing more predictable than Square Enix saying that it hasn't managed to meet the targets that it
Yeah,
has set.
once
so-
again.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But then, I suppose none of this comes from Square Enix, does it? This is just from Deck
Yeah,
9,
it's
but
Deck
yeah,
9.
obviously they as the publishers, clearly decisions have been made. I mean, I hope they're keeping Deck 9 on, like making this sort of thing. I know we've recorded one episode of the spoiler cast. We're due to do the second one. I think it's going to be interesting when we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, It's
Look,
go on, sorry.
the problem is that they're trying to chase that audience that I think is dwindling by the game. I think they need to do something different. They need to do something else. Not necessarily completely different in terms of genre and what they're trying to achieve, but certainly different in terms of the subject matter they're going for and the style. These Life is Strange games, they do not, and this is Deck 9, they didn't start the series off by any means, but they've had some ups, they've had some downs in terms of, in my opinion, the quality they've produced. And I just hope they find something for themselves and they can continue being successful, because I think games like Life is Strange are really important. They're really good, and I'd like to see them expanded. But unfortunately, that series feels like it's sort of stagnated for a while now. As much as I enjoy them, and I do enjoy them, every year I go, I could really do with a Life is Strange right about now. I do enjoy that series, but there is no doubt that series has stagnated, and it is not gaining audience. It's certainly losing. So it needs to. They need to take that idea and go somewhere new with it, I think.
I mean, it also felt like the original Life is Strange had quite a long tail, in the sense that there was a lot of people were like, discovering it later, and it was released on literally everything, over a long period of time.
Yeah, and because it was episodic, obviously a lot of reviews came out like around that first episode, which I think we all agreed wasn't great and did not put its best foot forward. So yeah, it had a rocky start. But eventually found an audience.
But it's sad because there's not a lot of studios making these kinds of games.
No, certainly not with this sort of budget. And
that's the thing.
production
There's lots of
values and
indie
stuff.
games that you get that are sort of similar kind of concepts, but it's not the same at this level. I mean, the next news is that Ubisoft are going to sunset XDefiant in 2025, and they're laying off 300 people related to this. So Ubisoft has said that the game didn't attract or retain enough players to make it viable as a live service game, and there's an office in San Francisco is going to close, another one in Osaka, and production's going to be ramped down in Sydney. And around 277 people are going to be made redundant, and then other people may be moved around to other places. And it's going to be shut down on the 3rd of June, 2025, where a skeleton crew are going to operate it until then. And then, last month Ubisoft claimed that this was never going to happen. It wasn't going to be shut down. Everything was kind of fine, but now it has been. And I mean, this is another example in it of the live service thing where it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, and it's doubly sad because for a time, Ubisoft, for all their faults, were synonymous with like, oh no, they'll support this until it finds its feet, because they did it with Siege and like a few other games. And they were becoming known as like, oh no, they won't instantly fucking kill something if it's not immediately hitting targets. But I mean, again, like I don't know anyone who, obviously this is anecdotal, but I don't know anyone who played this or was particularly fussed about it.
We do. But it's I just think this style of game is really hard to break through, and you're in a world now where even Call of Duty is starting to pick up pace again, and you're going up against games like that. There's been a lot of squad-based shooters or hero-based shooters that have really fallen by the wayside this year. It's been a big knock against the industry, I think. And with the one thing that we have noticed is that people are sticking with games longer. They're just sticking with games longer. And if you and your mates are playing Call of Duty every night, or if you and your mates are playing Overwatch every night, you're not going to switch to an alternative, because you're more likely to stay on the game that you know and love than convince all of your friends to completely switch to a new one. And even if you do switch to a new one, how long are they going to stay there before they go, so I just prefer the other one? It's really tough.
Because it must be hard to do one of these games and to try and do something different, but in a way that, like, say, if you're so entrenched in, for example, Call of Duty, and then you try out XDefiant, like, those differences aren't initially going to register as like, oh wow, this feels so fresh and new and interesting. Like, initially your reaction is going to be like, oh for fuck's sake, where's all the stuff I'm looking like? Where I'm used to everything being a certain way, right? And actually that transition is difficult, as you say. It's not like necessarily an exciting thing to begin with. That's what you discover those differences in a fun way over time, but you might just not have the time or inclination to do that.
And there's also the fact that you're already building up whatever you're building up on that other game, and there is something in your head that goes, why am I wasting my time playing this, whereas there's a new season or whatever on the game that I'm regularly playing where I can be building up whatever I'm building up, unlocking stuff or buying skins or
Exactly.
whatever.
Yeah.
Any of that
If
shit.
you've bought in, if you're like fully bought in on a game,
If you're
and
invested,
and
yeah.
you're like buying, like you said, like you're buying skins, you're buying all the stuff for it, then why would you want to?
Yeah, and obviously it's completely unreasonable to be like, oh right, well we're making XDefiant, so when new players join our game, they need to have as much shit as they've already earned in Call of Duty for the last 4 years.
Of course, that makes no sense.
You can't do it, can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah, it's tough out there. It's tough out there, and I can only see it getting tougher. Genuinely, I can only see it getting worse at this point. I think new IPs are going to really struggle to get through. The one thing that does fill me with hope is that single player experiences, new IPs as well as existing ones, single player experiences are still selling really well. You still got your Zelda and your Mario and your Last of Us and Spider-Man and stuff like
and
that.
The problem
Space Marine
is
and stuff as
that
well,
it's
like,
it's the whole thing of like, yeah, they're selling, but then a lot of these publishers were like looking at the sort of money you could make from like Fortnite and stuff and thinking, I want some of that, and then they put all the
Sure,
into it.
sure,
and
but hopefully they then see that and go, oh, there's a bigger risk now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't just release a games of a service game and expect it to compete with Fortnite, Call of Duty, and stuff like that. You can't just do that.
I think there's two things there. It's like one, like why would you bother going against the Call of Duties and other games that take everyone's time, like Destiny or Roblox or Minecraft. But then, even if you're like the 5th or 6th or 10th most popular, you're still probably making some nice revenue. But it's going to take a lot of money to actually get there. But the other kind of interesting point and thing about this is that years ago, I'm not sure what executive said, people aren't really interested in single player experiences anymore. It's all about multiplayer. But now, I think as you were just alluding to there, David, like it makes more sense to do a single player than risk it all and try multiplayer and go against those big games I just mentioned. And you're not very likely to make a dent. Whereas if you do create a nice single player narrative experience, I think there's more opportunity now to actually make a hit.
Totally.
And that's what was really frustrating with Concord. Like, remember when that was kind of revealed? Like at the start, it was like, okay, yeah, this looks like a bit of a Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff, but there hasn't been enough of those, and this looks like it could be great. And then it turned out to not be, I think, what a lot of people maybe would have hoped it would have been. Which is
in that brief
CGI
moment,
trailer, wasn't it? It was,
for the people watching that trailer, I think. The other thing is that when you're working on a games for a service game, you're not just building a development team for that game. You're also building a whole team to keep it afloat for several years afterwards, and that's why the layoffs hurt, right? Because you're building a whole world of workers to support this game for years. It comes out and it flops in the first week. Like what?
It's really hard to come back from that as well.
There's a lot of jobs on the line just on how successful things are day one. It sucks, man.
But then, as Sean mentioned in the previous story, things like Siege and Sea of Thieves and other games like this where they've done bad out the gate or not what they expected out the gate, they put the time and effort and money into it, and eventually I did turn it around. But I think that feels harder than ever to do now, or you need more time, more money. Whereas a few years ago, when it wasn't the big games, it wasn't the big ones that everyone spends all the I don't know what the stats are, but these games like Roblox, Fortnite, etc. They're ones that so many people spend so much of their time in. It's harder and harder to break through. So, would Sea of Thieves, if it was released today and done like it did at a launch, or Siege, would they be successful in like 2 or 3 years' time? Maybe they wouldn't put the time and effort in. I don't know.
See, I think something like Sea of Thieves would, because it's so different, like to most of these other things. Whereas stuff like XDefiant feels like it's like chasing another thing. But there's also been some more breaking news just now, which is kind of similar to this, which is that Suicide Squad, the Rocksteady game, that they're ending development on that now, and so it's the last bit of content is going to be for January 14th, and then they're destined to be done with that.
Because this. So I've not put it in the list because I've not played it enough, but I actually bought that this week because it was in
timing.
It was in the Steam sale for £3.
Was it like £3?
Yeah, and everyone was saying like, look, the service shit is not good, but you can buy that game now for £3. You can play the campaign, and then apparently the seasonal stuff was all free, and sort of completes the story in sort of phases. So yeah, I think this next update was due to be the last sort of story, like main story bit. Obviously, I'm sure they would have liked to then carry on making more stuff for it. But so yeah, this completes the story, and then that's your lot, sadly.
Yeah, because that was developed and all the live service stuff was ripped out, but still wasn't enough to save it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the next story, which is kind of connected to this, is that Ubisoft are now apparently discussing buyout options with Tencent, and the intention for this is quite interesting because the idea is to take Ubisoft private. So this would be so that it will no longer be like a publicly listed company, with the intention that the Guillemot family would retain control of the entire thing. And obviously then not be beholden to shareholders anymore. But
Ooh, what a lovely offer that sounds. I'm going to buy that company.
yeah, but according to Reuters, I mean, Tencent has said to be not so keen on this idea and want a greater role and input on board decisions. So it seems that they're not just going to give them the money and then just let Eves do whatever he
No,
wants.
of course not. No, you have to
Seems
expect to see it on the
yeah,
board.
Seems a bit unreasonable, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
But, I mean,
again, it doesn't feel like a huge surprise, right? Like Ubisoft have had a lot of high-profile, not necessarily failures, but not.
Haven't had many hits, have they, for a while?
No. Obviously, I know the next Assassin's Creed. Like, I actually think looks pretty good. I'm not a big Assassin's Creed guy. Like, I'm sure that will do well as it always has. But I think at this point, I don't see how like one successful Assassin's Creed is enough to right the ship.
And the fact they had to delay that, they were
Yeah.
probably like, look, we need a hit. We cannot even risk it. They can't risk it on
Mad
Star
that
Wars
Rainbow
Outlaws.
Six Siege 2 hasn't come out.
Because
I
6
find
as
that
is a
crazy.
platform.
it's
It's
that,
not
and-
though, is it?
but they also did that
like
extraction
it could
stuff, didn't they? Connected to Rainbow Six.
Oh, yeah.
But
That was a
That's
standalone game, though, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. No, but mate, you say but they don't. It needs a graphical overhaul. It needs completely new. Like you think how old that game is with the same concept, the amount of destruction you could do if you really, redone that game. It's well due an upgrade.
They could do that, but they could still call it Rainbow Six Siege. I mean, like Fortnite did that when they upgraded their engine to Unreal Engine 5 and the new. Was it Lumite technology?
Who
I
did
don't think
that,
they
sorry?
needed a sequel. Per
Who
se.
did that? Sorry.
Fortnite did that when they upgraded.
Yeah, Fortnite's one of the biggest games in the world that's like earning money over and over.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
Ubisoft
like, it
seem
could
to be on
be-
their knees a bit here, and this would be a good way of gaining interest back into the world of Rainbow Six. If they
Possibly.
offered an update to Rainbow Six Siege, I don't know if I'd buy it. If they announced Rainbow Six Siege 2, me and all my friends would buy it. It's as simple as that. Like it's
Yeah, there is that, I guess.
it's like the Destiny issue. If you
Yeah,
draw a
yeah.
line under it and say this is the new one, a lot of people will come back and play that game. I'm telling you. All I'm saying is that I'm surprised that's not a direction they've taken because that just seems like a guaranteed win for Ubisoft. It's really weird that they're not exploring that.
But maybe that game's still doing well enough and still got a cachet enough that like
be, yeah.
there's no fires for them to put out right now. And at the moment that's going along, they could do an Overwatch 2 and release a second one, and it's like, this isn't like as good as the first one, and
Yeah, no, you're
it's
right,
all a
yeah,
mess. So I mean, look, there's enough shit going on right now. Let's just keep that as it is. But I guess it wouldn't be surprised on them to announce it at some point. But
It is really wild, though, isn't it? Like when you consider, like Ubisoft had like a whole bunch of like franchises, should we call them? That they were like running every couple of years or whatever, and they all seem to have dwindled down to Assassin's Creed. Like, if you think like Ghost Recon,
Watch Dogs,
Watch Dogs, Splinter Cell,
The Crew.
yeah, they had, there was like a whole bunch of different stuff, but it seems to have just completely.
Far Cry that was Ubisoft.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Far Cry
Yeah,
as
they've
well,
driven that into the ground.
Yeah, I mean,
It's,
they basically invented like the Ubisoft open world style game.
Ubification, yeah.
Yeah,
Does
and then-
Just Dance still shift? I assume
I'm
it
sure it
does.
does,
But
Oh
I
god,
bet
yeah,
it
that's
does,
still
yeah.
massive. Yeah.
Still releasing a
Aren't they-
Wii version of that.
No, they've stopped, didn't they? Wasn't last year the last one? I'm sure I
remember.
read that somewhere. That's mad. Okay.
So but anyway, talks are ongoing with that, but apparently Ubisoft stock is up. So that's good.
Cool, well done to them.
yeah.
Well, because they're talking about
Everything's right.
selling.
Yeah.
Right, of
It's
course.
you do wonder how legal that stuff is. It's crazy, isn't it? That you could just go. It was like last week's story where someone said, "We have a letter of intent to buy so and so," and you're like, "What?" All of a sudden, their stocks raised. Like it's mental.
I think
I wonder.
any mention of like insider trading now just reminds me of that. I think you should leave sketch with the hat.
Oh god, it's so funny. And he's got a couple of dice in his
I think
pocket.
he's got dice in his pocket.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Talking about needing something new, maybe a new series of that, please.
I don't know. I feel
Hasn't
like,
he got a film coming
I
out?
feel like 3 sort of went off the boat. Oh yeah, he's got
Yeah,
a film
he-
with Paul Rudd, hasn't he?
He's
Yeah,
got
I think
something.
it's
Yeah,
Paul Rudd.
yeah.
I think
it's
so. Tim's definitely doing a film with Paul Rudd, and then yeah,
3
he's got
was
no-
still
he's- but
good.
he's got
Season
new
3 was still good, Sean. It
It was
still
alright.
had
It
moments.
was, but it wasn't as good. Two still
No, it
the
wasn't
one.
as good. but
Yeah,
it's
he's
still
got a
good.
new series. Well, it's not with Netflix, is it? It's someone else.
Okay.
Can't remember.
Okay.
Okay, next story is, I mean, this is a nice story. So EA is making 23 more of its accessibility patents free for any studio to use. So they first started this in 2021, and they had like 5 protected patents they made available. Now the total's going to be at 38 in total. And so these are things that other developers will be able to use without paying or being sued or anything. So they can, and it's stuff like they got like intelligent personalized speech recognition, voice aging using machine learning, dynamically selecting speech functionality on client devices. There's a whole bunch of technologies that they're making available to other people. And I mean, this is what EA have said. They said, this pledge covers some of our most innovative technologies designed to break down barriers for players living with disabilities or medical issues. This includes those with vision, hearing, speaking, or cognitive issues. So yeah, that's
Nice.
I think that's good, right? I mean,
It is nice. But
What?
I always wonder what it's like for like an indie developer sitting down, and if EA executive goes, "There you go. Look, we're just going to leave these 38 things here for free. We're not. It's all free. You can have it now, and it's for the good of people. It's for accessibility." And the indie dev going, "Well, I could just take this and use this," and you won't. Yeah, sure, you could take it, and you must feel like. Yeah, but you're EA. There's something going on here, isn't there? There is something
Where's the catch here?
going on.
Yeah.
Is there a camera in this box? Have you put? What have you done with this?
But yeah, ultimately, this is a very good thing. But yeah, I do see what you mean. But no, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
it is.
Well done,
know
them.
Don't
Sorry,
trust
this is-
them, Matt.
This is the
Well done, them. But
first
also,
time- first time we've mentioned EA in a while. Isaac really wants. I don't know if you remember it. I don't think many people played it. EA published. It was one of their sort of EA indie ones that they published called. I don't know if it's Fee or Fey. It was literally just FE is the title.
it's fee. Yeah, I remember
I
that.
do
yeah.
remember this. Yeah.
Isaac's seen. I don't know where he must have seen it when he was like on the eShop or something, and he's like obsessed with getting it for Christmas. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, I thought it was meant to be all right. I think. I mean, I'll get it.
He watched,
it's
he
not-
watched a YouTuber talk about it because that's
Probably,
what they
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, no,
that's what
fucking
they do.
Keep them off YouTube as much as we can, but yeah. So I'm just like, all right, I'm getting Fee then.
I finished this game.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really
I'm
good.
sure I did. It's all right.
Yeah.
great review.
So that's
Can't
how
wait.
we do it at the computer game show.
It's all right. Out of 10. I'm sure I have a great time with it.
Yep. Christmas Day.
Also, it'd be well cheap,
I'm
wouldn't it?
sure I
Well,
finished
no,
this.
it's still
I
like it's like
remember it.
£18 on the eShop there. I can't find like a cheap key anywhere, but never mind.
Well, it's not an EA Play.
Well, he wants it on the Switch, doesn't he?
Oh, okay.
So how?
Which will be a great version, I'm sure. But
Hang on, so but you would buy it digitally, or would you buy it physically?
I can't find it physically. I've had a look.
Wow, ultra
I
rare.
mean, I'll keep looking, but. Yeah.
So how would I work on Christmas morning? You would have
Well,
downloaded it
this
through
is
the
it.
Switch.
It's going to be so unsatisfying. It's like, oh, I wonder if Santa's been on your Switch. I don't know.
No, we know what to do. Don't we? Oh, you can't get download code. You got to get it from the eShop on there, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah.
So there was a guy at work that turned around and said, so I'm going to buy FC 25 for my son for Christmas, but which one do I get? And I went through it with him. I was like, just go to CD Keys. It's 30 quid on there at the moment, and you get. And he said, yeah, but I can't get a card. I want it on a card so I can actually give it to him as a gift. And I went, I get that. But where have you seen it on card? And he went, well, in Asda, it's £65. I said, well, don't pay £35 for the bit of cardboard with a note on it. So instead,
saying out loud.
I'm gonna print him off on card. I'm gonna print him off and thing, and we'll personalise it and put the code underneath it. It's like, and then he can pay me the £35. Yeah, it is. I know exactly that feeling. How the hell do you give that as a gift?
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
it's
not very satisfying, is it?
I mean, I've already got him just because I saw them cheap. You Suck at Parking. Do you remember that?
I
It's
do.
not-
Yeah, it does ring a
yeah.
bell,
It's
yeah.
good fun. I found it for like £6 on the Switch, and it's physical version.
That's
Oh,
good.
nice.
And Detective Pikachu Returns found that for I think it was like £18 or something. So I thought,
Nice.
yeah, fuck it, I'll enjoy that.
Yeah, fee isn't even listed on the CX website, so
Yeah.
that's how rare it is.
I'm not sure it ever had a physical release.
Oh, that could
I
be
think you're
why.
probably
I
right.
would
yeah.
explain.
That's right.
All right.
Okay, last story is that we now know the name of It Takes Two developers' next project, which is good. So that's nice. It's called Split Fiction, and according to Deal Labs, they reckon it's coming out on the 6th of March 2025.
I mean, just guessing here, but going by that name, do you think it's going to be some sort of game where there's like two characters and the screen's split in the middle?
Yes, I
Possibly doing
think it's
stuff.
that. It's
The
going
book
to be
will come back.
It's going to be one of you's playing either a character in a book or on a TV show or something, and one of them's playing a character in real life, and you need to flick between the two. I think.
And if
that's
it's
where they
co-op,
could-
then
that
maybe
would be
like
my
you
guess.
only see one thing, and yet your co-op buddy can only see one, so there's a bit more communication rather than seeing the same
They've
thing.
never
maybe.
done that though.
No, but maybe it's something else that can elevate what they've already done. Be
Whatever this
interesting.
is going to
The
be
thing
like,
is, though,
it'll
'cause-
have couch co-op, won't it? It'll be.
I was going to say,
secret.
because and I'm all right with that because no one makes games quite like they do.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy if they are just kind of doing the same thing again, but
As long as it's got mini games in it, that's all me and James care about.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm hoping Harry's old enough now to play that with him. I'd like
Oh,
to
yeah,
do the run
definitely.
through with him.
Oh, dear,
Because
yeah,
I
for
played
sure.
it through with Asher recently, and he absolutely loved it. He thought it was brilliant. So that was.
How drunk was he by the end?
Not very.
on the facts.
Yeah, I know James is shit at those mini
Yeah.
games. James was absolutely wankered.
I won in the end when it came to that. That was
Okay.
yeah, that was so good.
Is that it for the news, James?
That is it. Yeah, that's pretty.
Sorry, just
I
I
was
mean
hoping
on
there was
okay.
one last Farley's Fantasy Zone. Just
Well, just
before-
on that though. On the Takes Two thing, it's gonna be this is a trade going live at the Game Awards.
Yeah, with it's
Well,
the
that's the
speculation.
rumour.
Yeah, is that this coming Friday? It should
this
be,
week, though,
that, yeah.
God, it is, isn't it? But it's at the fucking stupidest time.
12:30
for
at
us.
night.
Yeah, and it's like 4 hours long or whatever. I would love to stay up and watch it, but it's just no way.
See, I wouldn't love to stay up and watch it, so I'm quite happy to meet. I don't think I've ever watched it.
No, I mean,
I
it
mean,
wouldn't
I
be
could-
good. Don't get
I
me
can
wrong.
watch
I'm just-
Doritos adverts whenever whenever I want. I don't have to. sit
Yeah,
there and-
it's always good to skip. It is always good
Yeah,
to
but
skip.
people.
Are we
I mean, I
done?
like the fact that people are hyping up though, saying, "Look, this is gonna be a big one."
Yeah.
So that gets me
Happens
excited.
every year.
Yeah.
What you've been playing, and there is of course a big release this week. And I'm not going to do that thing where I go, "Oh, it's actually a game that you've never heard of." It's not. It's Indiana Jones. Da, 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 Indiana Jones. Right, before we get to the game, it's called Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which Chet Roiver
Shit
sent me a screenshot of a part of the Radio Times review that says this: Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, more like Indiana Jones and the Great Game, almost.
So
That's
not
incredible.
that then.
Yeah.
That was a
It always makes me laugh when if I search for
Radio
game stuff
Times.
and it comes up with the Radio Times, and I was like, oh, this must be how people felt when they started covering TV.
yeah.
Why is it? It's called the Radio Times. Why is there television stuff?
Anyway, Indiana Jones. I just before we get into the game, what are our history with the character? Because one thing that really hit me, and I've mentioned this a lot in the build up to this game, is that I don't really give a shit about Indiana Jones, and I never have.
I really?
I said that.
Fucking love it.
Yeah, the
it's
original
always been a thing.
trilogy were amazing. I admittly haven't seen any of the new
Yeah.
ones since, but the
Well,
original
apparently
three
the new
were
ones are
brilliant.
bad, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, they're not
Yeah,
great.
new ones are poor, right?
I think
So
you can skip
what is
those.
it about his character? What is it then? Like, what's the essence of Indiana Jones?
it's
then? Because
Han Solo with a whip, isn't it? I mean, he's like a lovable
Well,
rogue, and
he's the same
Yeah.
actor, but
well, it's very much a lot of the same. I don't know. It feels like a lovable rogue.
But it's also because it feels like a massive throwback to like another era, really, which is interesting to like experience.
I was going to say, because haven't those original films aged quite badly
I'm sure
in
they.
some ways?
in some
I'm sure they
ways,
probably
yes,
have.
certainly. they
you
have.
heard about the reports about what they wanted Indiana Jones to be. There's
Oh, no,
there's
go on.
reports about everyone in a room talking about his character, and it was really offensive, like on
Cool.
every level you can imagine. Like, do you remember that, James?
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, there was
The
stuff there
interviews
which
and
we were like,
yeah, it's terrible.
not right.
I will sit back because I've only played an hour and a half of this. I'm
Mhm.
very early. I was hoping to play more this weekend, but I only really got about an hour and a half to 2 hours in. I'm walking around the Vatican. Sean, you're going to tell me you've either completed it or you're like for 8 hours in because I've seen you on it
yeah.
constantly.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how many. It's like sort of 5 to 10 hours, I think. I'm still in the Vatican, but
Really?
Really? Well, I'm in.
Yeah.
Really? Okay, so
But
you spend a lot of time there, do you? Or do you go back?
I've heard that part is where it sort of like opens up into like a lot of mini like adventures and stuff like that, and that's
Yes.
why some people stay there for a very long time.
well, this is what's been so interesting about it. So yeah, for those who aren't aware, Microsoft has done this thing again, which I do think is shitty, but they fucking got me again. Where the game's out today, right, Monday, as we record this, but if you upgraded to the premium version, you could play it from last Friday. And I think
This
it includes
is shit. It's
It is
properly shit.
It is,
Especially
it is.
because if they did this and it was like more than a week of like, you know, if you got a lot longer with this, I can kind of understand it. But it's a couple of days. It's fucking ridiculous. Sorry.
Well,
So
I
why
mean,
why
I
don't
can
worry
justify
about it,
it
then, James?
because-
Yeah, just don't bother
pay
then.
it.
Well, I didn't bother, and that's what's it's just ridiculous.
Right,
I thought
everyone,
for
sorry, everyone in the
22
chat's
quid.
mugging me off now. Look, I fucking did this so I can talk about it on this fucking podcast. If the
Also,
difference
you were
was
a
like,
bit excited.
yeah, of course I was excited.
Yeah, but it's both. I was excited, but I was like £22 to pay over the weekend. Admittedly, I also only got back a couple of hours in, but I was like, it's
But yeah,
£22
so-
for 2 hours, well worth it.
So basically, because I think, yeah, you know, if you bought the game and it was the premium edition, then you're looking at like 80 quid or whatever. But if you're playing it on Game Pass, you can get the upgrade for £22. I also game share with a friend, so we split the cost. So I paid 11 entire pounds, and I get the story DLC, and all the reviews are saying it was really
Yeah,
good.
but you know what's really shitty about that? Really shitty. That
Well,
I
it
don't
sounds
know
like
if you picked up on.
Starfield. That's what we did with Starfield. It's
That
the
is
same
what we
thing.
did with Starfield. However, I didn't wait for the reviews on that, and I really should have.
Yeah.
If that game comes out in 18, if the DLC comes out in 18 months' time,
Mhm.
you would still have to be subscribed to Game Pass to play it.
There is that. But why wouldn't I be? It's a great service. No,
Yeah,
it's
you're
interesting,
right.
isn't it? Because
Yeah.
obviously there was because it was Forza Horizon 5 where they first did this, where it was like 20 quid and it was early access.
Yeah, I did that as
all,
well.
all the DLC,
Oops.
and I'll make that deal all day long. Right? I was 100% okay with that. Starfield got very badly burned. They tried a similar thing with Call of Duty, didn't they? I think.
Did they?
I didn't do
Was
it
it Call
for
of Duty
that.
or maybe it was something else? Can't remember.
I got sent a code, so
Oh,
All right.
well,
Oh,
that's
me, look at me.
good.
Um,
And I know the friend might be listening. Who? But thank you very much. Didn't have to pay. Didn't have a dilemma. It's fine.
So yeah, certainly it's murky territory, and I know I'm not saying, oh, this. I'm really glad I paid the extra. Everyone should do that next time Microsoft bring a new game out. However, I have had a very lovely weekend playing this. I mean, in terms of relationship to the character, as you say, there. I mean, I know I've seen the films, but it was a long time ago. I don't remember a lot of what happens in them.
Same.
But that hasn't like prevented my enjoyment of this at all.
Just makes me want to rewatch them, actually.
Yeah, well,
I
yeah,
probably
I've
will.
wondered. Yeah,
We did
about
not so long ago
revisiting
with the
them.
kids, and they
Oh, yeah.
loved them. Apart
Did they?
from obviously the more recent ones.
Was
Yeah.
there many spiders in them, James?
Yeah. There's quite a lot that goes.
Well, he's in
especially
Dusty
in Temple of
Tombs,
Doom.
so
There's
yeah.
quite a lot of. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because this opens with I
A big spider scene.
There's a spider scene, yeah. So basically, it opens with an interactive version of a bit from one of the films. I couldn't tell you which one. It's the one where he tries to swap the idol with the bag of sand and
Raiders of the
surprises
Lost
them.
Ark. Yeah.
Is that the Raiders of the Lost Ark? Okay, cool. So it opens
Is
with
the
an interactive
spider
version
bit
of
in the
that.
Raiders of the Lost Ark then as well?
Yeah, believe so.
Okay.
So he
'cause-
reaches into a hole to pull a switch or something, and then a spider comes out. And also, yeah, there's like spiders all over his back.
Yeah, his
and
back,
Hold on,
yeah.
I haven't seen the switch bit yet. Is that in that opening bit?
I think. Oh,
The only bit I remember spider-wise is, yeah, like they're all on his back.
maybe
And,
I'm thinking, maybe
on
I'm
the
getting
floor.
confused. Then I'm inventing spiders.
See, when I
do you
think
know what really
spiders, I
annoys
think
me?
Temple of Doom, because Temple of Doom was all about the spiders.
Right, yeah,
There was
yeah.
loads
Do
of them.
you know what annoys me? This is probably why I didn't get into the films. And do you know what annoys me is that I was unreliably informed that there was definitely an arachnophobic mode in this game, and I was all smug about it. I said, Joe, apparently there's spiders in this, but there's an arachnophobic mode in it. Do you know what I did, Sean?
What?
I was a big boy. I watched it. I was a
Okay.
big boy.
Mhm.
I was a big boy.
How did you feel?
He's a big boy.
Scared. I felt scared, Matt.
Yeah.
I felt scared, but I was a big boy, and I watched it, and I went, "Oh, they're horrible." And then the bit, why did they have to do the close up of them scurrying away? Like, that
Well,
was
I
the
really
worst
thought
bit.
one was going to go up the trouser leg, but
No,
that's what I
I
thought.
was a big,
So
I
I
was a
think
big boy, Sean.
So yeah, there is no arachnophobia, and I did look in the menus just out of curiosity, but
So did I.
I was like, yeah, definitely
Oh,
no.
no, I think there is,
arachnophobia
but you can
there.
make them bigger. It's like
You're not.
it's not what you want.
You're not.
Arachnophilia mode.
Yeah.
You're not a fan of spiders either. How did you find that bit?
It's interesting because I mean, one thing I do remember about Indiana Jones is that he's scared of snakes. Right?
Yes.
But he doesn't seem to give a shit
snakes
about
was the-
spiders. So
Yeah.
there's something weirdly. I'm fine with it because I'm playing a character who clearly doesn't really give a shit about him.
And
Right.
his dad Henry,
Yeah.
didn't like rats.
Oh, well,
Right,
there
okay, no one cares. Well, could you imagine it? Could you imagine an Indiana Jones where he was scared of spiders? Where he walked into
they're
one of
awful,
these things, like, oh, look at the size of it. Oh, it's good. This one's got hairs on it. He's running around with a big hardback book trying to squish him because he's just
Just storming out of the tomb.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
no,
not
no,
even bothering.
I don't want the idol. It's not
Forget
there.
it.
It's fine. I don't know.
I don't want to talk about it.
I'll tell you what, that whole "it belongs in a museum" thing is a bit problematic nowadays as well, isn't it?
Yeah. It's set in the 30s. You know,
Yeah,
what,
that's
do you want?
Yeah.
So you do that initial bit, and it's very scripted, and it's fine. It's the tutorial basically, and then there's a bit in your university where, the guy's supposed to be a university lecturer, and as soon as one thing happens, he's like, right, I am off to the
Yeah.
Vatican.
Yeah, that was
See you
super
later.
He just didn't
weird.
want to teach him. I was
Yeah,
like, okay,
he
any
just wants to get
excuse
out
to
of
get out of there.
I know the feeling. I mean, any opportunity.
How many times did you try that, James?
Yeah, how many times have you had to pack up a vinyl or whip and a picture
Yeah,
of a
a
cat?
Polaroid, yeah.
As I said, any opportunity, I'm off with my whip.
Oh, I'd love it if you genuinely went to work every day thinking you were Indiana Jones.
I mean, I kind of do, David. I mean, that's how I get through it. It's just
So
Okay.
yeah, and then you go to the Vatican. Sorry if this sounds like spoilers, it really isn't. This is just the opening sort of couple of hours, and and then you get to the Vatican, and then there's sort of there's an opening bit where it's a bit scripted. You're making your way through. You take it. It's the whole place is overrun with Mussolini's black shirts. So all fascist thugs all over the shop who all need a good smack over the head. And then you sort of basically you meet a contact there, and then it becomes like I'm not going to say open worlds, but
It's
open
very
zone, I
open,
guess.
yeah.
Yeah, and so you've got main objectives, you've got a little map and a little notebook, and you're looking at stuff, and you've got all like loads of different objectives and different missions you can pick up and stuff, and it's really cool. I was like, because I was from the trailers and stuff, I assumed this was basically going to be like first person Uncharted.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, and it's really not at all.
It's it's I'd say first person, obviously, but it's Dishonored. It really, really,
Yes.
really feels like Dishonored to me.
Yeah.
It's
Very
got
just on a
so
lot
much
of crawling
in
around on
common with
roofs, a lot of
Yeah,
sneaking.
and that's part. Look, I'm not far into forming an opinion, but I am finding it a little dull. I thought it was going to be, and this might be because it's more in connection with Indiana Jones itself as a concept. But I was really surprised. I thought it was way more action than it has been. At the moment, there's a ton of sneaking about, and a lot of stealth, and a lot of throwing bottles to distract, and then. I love the bonking over the head. Don't get me wrong. I think that is great. You're just picking up objects and whacking people over the back.
And there's so many things to pick up as well in the environment. It's great.
I do love that. I love that. But I am surprised by how slow it feels when I thought this was going to be an all-action adventure game, and that's probably because I'm not an indie fan, so I'm not really aware of.
Well, I don't know.
other
I think
films.
it's safe to say it's like a slow start, but I think it like now in the Vatican, like as Sean said, this is where it's opening up. So yeah, it is a slower start, but
There is a
I don't
lot of
necessarily think that is indie specific, but it set up the story, it set up the premise. It's getting open worldy. No, I wouldn't call it open world. I mean, I never played Dishonored, even though I loved was it Deathloop, the latter one? So I probably would love Dishonored actually.
That was great.
I probably would.
Like structurally, it feels more like Deus Ex in a way.
really?
In that you've got
Which
an
also-
open-
I also
open
loved, yeah.
bit. Yeah, you've got like an open bit, and then occasionally you'll there'll be one door you go through to go sort of into a main mission. And then you'll do that, and then you're back out in the hub area, and maybe stuff has changed because of what happened in the main mission or what have you. There's disguises in it. I wouldn't say it's Hitman. My understanding is the way it works is you go to a new area, someone gives you a disguise, and like it's all right. It gets you into a lot of places, but not all places, and like enemies of a certain rank can still spot you. If you're not careful.
Yeah, there's
But
like restricted areas like Hitman, isn't there?
Yeah, but then for each area, there's then a second disguise which is better and gets you anywhere you want. And so everyone's saying, like, basically every new area you go to, do the main missions until you unlock the ability to get the other disguise, then get that, and then do the side stuff, right? Because you're much more free to explore. But yeah, I've just, like, I went to the Vatican. Now, generally, I have no interest in like sort of Christian church-based sort of mythology and like sort of Dan Brown stuff. I don't know, just doesn't really appeal to me all that much. But yeah, on this occasion, I say I'm must be nearly 10 hours in, and I've not found any great need to like move on to the next bit. I've been really enjoying like rinsing everything in this one location.
Man, so the Vatican is huge, then, is it?
It's pretty fucking big, yeah. And there's loads of quests and stuff to do.
Yeah, I wandered around, done a couple of things, but okay, I'll just assume this will be like, an hour or two, move on to the next thing. But that's interesting, actually, that you've hung around it so much.
I've
not had any puzzles yet, and I'm quite looking forward to getting to the puzzle.
There are puzzles.
Because I think,
I
I think that's where like, what I'll get the most out of this.
Oh, well, I mean, would you not agree there's like a secret passage to get to where you already are? That I think that was a puzzle-ish kind of thing. Is that, I mean, you pick up some clues?
No, that
and
was
it's
more
like...
of a find a key in the right place. It wasn't necessarily like an environmental puzzle where you are like where you enter a room and you go, oh, I need to do something.
Oh,
here.
no,
I need to
yeah,
work
yeah.
something out here. That was more of a, I need to get a key for the right door, and that key could be anywhere, and I need to, and I'd love to see how you all did that. I'd find it hard to describe how I did it. I don't think it's very descriptive, but I bet it was in a completely different way to me because I got found, jumped out of a window, just managed to get on a little canopy before falling onto the floor, then hid. And all of a sudden, I was in this completely different area and managed to get this key randomly, and it worked to get me through to the back. And it was like, it was a real fumble my way through that moment. It was quite funny, really. But yeah, I'll tell you, it fucking looks amazing.
Looks really nice.
Oh, it
looks really nice.
It does in some aspects and not in others.
Apparently, it's solid 60 frames on the Series S as well.
Yeah,
Just
feels 60 frames on the X.
Days.
Yeah. What do you mean, Matt?
I think frame rate wise definitely feels solid, but like some bits, I mean, I think the environments look really great. There's a couple of bits where you're, in that early area where you're sneak around. It's at night, on the rooftops, and it looks awesome. It's like look around, and even like the forest at the beginning, or rainforest look great. But then some of the characters don't. I don't know. They don't look incredible. But I would rather that and it be solid than.
Right? Yeah. I think it's their faces.
And the hair. I mean, again, I'm being picky because you play like games like Horizon, Horizon Dawn, etc. And they look stunning. And this isn't that, but I would absolutely trade this ever so slight, personally for me, slight downgrade on like character graphics and whatnot for it to be as solid as it is.
Yeah, I think what they've tried to do, and I could be wrong, but the style of the characters in it seems very much like going for ultra realism scan of a face rather than a stylized character model. It's the uncanny valley thing. At times you catch it at the wrong angle and you're like, it doesn't look that great. But then for the majority of it, it looks absolutely great.
But I recognising the actors is good. I think as Shai just said in the chat, Tony Todd's he's the guy who played Candyman. I was like, I recognise him. And then the other dude who's hanging out with Indy towards the beginning, I recognise that actor as well. And yeah, it's great to see this.
And I've got to say as well, like Troy Baker, I know he's one of those voice actors. Sorry, I should say performance act, like who does the performance capture and everything. Obviously, he's in loads of stuff. He's one of those names that is like 100% dependable. I think he's fucking great in this.
He is so good as
the
Indy.
impression of Harrison Ford, I think, is fucking spot on. Some people disagree. I think it's fantastic.
It's really excellent.
The little quips during the fights and stuff are like, obviously they're from the 1930s, so to us they're completely lame, but but I don't know, they work. Like I just think they're delivered really well. So yeah, I think he's done a fantastic job with it. And then just, there's lots of interviews where he's like, I was shitting it. Like he said like his imposter syndrome was just through the roof the whole time, but I don't think he nailed it. The stealth stuff I think is fine. I think the more you play it, you realize that you can get away with quite a lot. And often, even if you break stealth, you fist fight through.
Yeah, I've
and then it's
done
not a
that.
huge problem.
I basically try to sneak around. If I'm like, oh, I'm not sure where to go, I've often just run at someone, knocked them out, and it's fine. And you can like pick up a body and move it, and I've done it a couple of times. But in the areas, at least up to the Vatican, there are often only like 2 or 3 people at the same place anyway, so that you can knock both of them out, and you don't really have to bother hiding the bodies. I'm sure that'll come into its own later on, but it's fun. Just like throwing a bottle.
The fighting feels really good, right?
The fighting's great.
You can parry as well,
really
can't you?
funny,
Yeah,
it really works.
It's very simple, but yeah, it does the job. I mean, certainly, like if you fuck up in like a massive courtyard and there's like 20 fascists there, then yeah, you're gonna die. But for the most part, yeah, like I say, it's often in the there'll be one room and there'll be 2 guys at most. It feels better to try and take them down with stealth, but it's not the end of the world.
I did do it when I got to the Vatican. I was like, oh, I need to get to this place, and I went on. There's like a zip wire into this area. I was like, oh, I'll go there. Oh no, wait, it's just shitless of people. I was like, can I run? Can I hide? Can I punch? No, I got killed.
And as I say, the puzzle stuff is fun because as you know, I'm a big fan of escape rooms. Whereas this is the opposite because you're breaking into tombs and there's puzzles to do that, and that's been really fun so far. I'm interested to see where that goes.
So that was one of the things that I heard that sounded quite interesting about this, because they said like there's very little sort of guidance given to you in for a lot of these puzzles, and how that's kind of refreshing.
Well, apparently there is like a dynamic hint system. I don't appear to have triggered it yet because I'm obviously so fucking clever. It's really, really enjoying it. Really quite surprised.
Surprised? I thought we were expecting this to be decent.
Not surprised by how good it is, just by what it is.
It's not what I expected at all.
Yeah, I was expecting a romp.
Yes,
sort of fairly on rails, set piece heavy. Was not expecting.
It's much more of a video game than that, isn't it?
What do we think about? There's a lot of kind of gestural kind of movement where you like, okay, get a key, you look down, you press X, you press right on the stick. I'm not sure
massive on that
what
stuff.
that's really in there for. It almost feels like, not it was. It's like, was this ever like? It wasn't. But it feels like, was it a VR game? It changed. Oh no, it wasn't. But it's like, why? There's a lot of these kind of physical things which I don't necessarily.
Don't really add
things with that.
No.
I think it's trying to add tension where you're doing those things and unlocking a door where there are bad guys
Guards,
about, and you're undercover, and then suddenly you have to unlock a door, and you're like, quick, do this quickly. But I don't get that from this. And there's 2 things that I think kind of miss the mark, or that I'm not reacting the way I should be reacting to them. One of them is that the gestures. And that including in that is when you go to do a gesture and you just drop the shit that you're holding all the time.
I was going to say, that's really annoying. Yeah. Seems completely unnecessary. Like just
it reminded me
while
of
I do the animation.
Outlaws, where if you had a weapon and you climbed a ladder, you have to drop it. It's really fucking annoying. But the other one was the constant in and out of third person and first person. I just kind of feel like pick a lane.
Like, I don't mind it. It reminded me of the Chronicles of Riddick games did that, and I didn't really understand it then either. But I don't mind it.
Because aren't a lot of these developers from Starbreeze that made that as well, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think what it is that I'm interested to find out why they do that. So if you like, sometimes you'll climb over a ledge or something, and it will go briefly like a second in third person, and then go back into first person, or you climb a ladder. And I do worry that was off the back of, you need to be reminded that you're Indiana Jones, and we've created Indiana Jones, and you never see him. Whereas actually, I've seen a lot of people talk about the shadows in the game, and suddenly catching a glimpse of yourself as Indiana Jones gives you that.
Yeah,
which is great.
There's a couple of really cool moments towards the beginning where, like, it purposely does that, where you see like the shadow of you wearing
Yeah,
the
but
hat. and
I feel it's
"Fuck
kind
yes."
of spoiled when I get on a ladder and then suddenly it goes in third person. I'd love to know.
Yeah, I
There must be
wonder
a reason for doing that. I don't know if it was we can't get the first person view to work properly here, so it's better to look at it in third person, or if it's just like, for example, that must be it. There's a lot of climbing in it. In the stuff that I've done, a lot of shuffling along ledges, all of that's done in third person. It just must be intolerable in first person. It just must be so
I think
hard.
I think there's maybe like having a sense of place. I think also it could be, although it is animated, I think maybe if you have like hands up close, maybe they might look rough. I don't know. Like, I think anything to kind of just like, keep it so you can see the character in view. It does feel a bit weird, 'cause, as you say, it kind of does chop and change quite a lot. And like when I'm standing at the edge, like when you're standing at the edge of a ledge, like you have to. Do you turn backwards and then go down? Is that because that's what the first
that's
instruction
right,
said?
you
But
climb down
shuffle
the
off
ledge.
backwards,
yeah, it just feels like, okay, not too far, not too far. But,
I always feel like that's not going to work, and it always has worked.
Yeah.
Right? But but it's not giving me any reason to doubt it. But yeah, it just feels weird.
It might also be like a motion sickness thing, maybe. Like if you're just going up and down like a ladder, it might be like maybe it might be some small element of that.
I'm
potentially as well.
sure a lot of this is really just so that to reinforce who you are. I think I'm sure that's one of the main
No, the
reasons.
backing up over the ledge thing. I mean, if you turn that to a button press like most games, that's not gonna take away who you are, is it? It's that I don't agree that that's the reason for that sort of stuff.
I think
just
James meant the third person stuff, right?
Oh, the third person stuff. Yeah, I think it's less to do with that and more to do with the fact that they didn't want the mirror's edge effect, where a lot of the time you're staring at a wall really closely because Indy's like shuffling along a ledge or whatever. It's trying to have its cake and eat it, isn't it? It's trying to be a first-person game, but also you do wonder actually maybe it's better if it was all a third-person game rather than a first-person. Maybe that would have worked better. I don't know, but I've not played enough of it to properly form an opinion. I will play more of this. It is quite nice to see Microsoft Studios have a hit. It is kind of funny that this has already been announced for the PS5 at this point, so it's not just an Xbox exclusive hit that they can.
It's not coming out for quite a while. I think it's like they said sort of spring. Because
Yeah.
I looked at that because the deal breaker for me with this is when I heard that it was 60 frames on Series S. I'm like, yeah, I will play it on Series S in that case. I won't wait. It's.
How have you not bought an X?
Yeah, it still blows my mind. You're still on
I
it.
need one. What for? What am I going to buy it for?
Don't use it enough.
The 4K-ness.
I will say, from a technical point of view, so whenever you load the game up, say it hasn't quick resumed, literally the title screen is your last
It's
save.
so good.
Yeah, and then you just press continue, and then
Yeah. What
mad.
Sean means by that is that it goes into third person of where your character was standing when you last played, and the menus are up on the left hand side, and you're seeing almost a visual of Indiana Jones standing there, but standing where you last left off. And when you press continue, it then zooms into the back of his head, and you continue. That is absolute. I love that. That is super.
It's so funny you said that, 'cause I was going to mention like just the opening menu, and I just had visions of the weekend and be like, Matt, that's the most boring fucking thing you've ever said. But like, even just like when you start the game, like you see Indiana Jones there, and you press start, and you're like, go straight into the game, like without there's no loading. It's just like you're straight into that cutscene. It's like, oh, that just felt nice. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think if I've got to sum up this conversation, I think it's incredible that they've made a game that feels like Indiana Jones, but also feels like a modern video game. And look, I am not a fan of stealth. I'm not a fan of, as much as I love Dishonored. Dishonored 2 is largely considered a better game, and I just got sick of it because I got sick of the stealth stuff. And I do worry that this might happen to me with this game, but that's on me. That's not on the game. For them to bring out what feels like a proper video game, with no sort of dumbing down to try and appeal to a wider audience. They've taken the character, they've nailed that stuff, they've nailed the video game stuff. Like that's brilliant, right? That's brilliant, and very, very impressed with what I played with so far.
Sean, in like 10 hours you played, how many have you fired many guns? Because I've got a revolver, but I just haven't kind of felt the
No,
need.
I used it once just as it was the end of a session, and I was like, do you know what? There's some red barrels
fire a
there.
gun.
Let's just see how long
Yeah.
they last. So just fired a few shots, and it was just like, it's fine. I mean, and apparently later on, so at the moment, in the Vatican, as I say, there's all these thugs, but they've all just got like batons, right? So apparently soon after the enemy start having guns. So I think shootouts do become a thing. But yeah, obviously it's interesting that these are the Wolfenstein devs, and you're just like, I don't really want to shoot anything, to be honest.
Yeah, even when it told me, it was like, you can shoot to scare away the dogs. I'm like, well, I don't want to scare away the dogs. I like dogs.
Don't wanna scare
So,
dog.
do you know what? I had a real, have you ever heard about the kick the duck moment?
No.
Where you're in like a park and near ponds or whatever, and there's a duck there, and your brain goes, I wonder what would happen if I just booted the duck as hard as possible. Like what they call it? Something false. I can't remember.
Intrusive thoughts, yeah.
Intrusive
And I do get them a lot, so I'm not judging you, but I have not.
Oh
had
yeah, I get
You've not
that.
had that
yeah.
in this. You'd not had it where it's just done a fighting tutorial and you're standing in front of a nun in the Vatican. Because I did. I stood there and I just went, will it let
What
me?
happened?
Will it let me? And if it does, what happens? And I was even like, I was this nervous about it. I was like, the worst thing that could happen is I do it and the characters go, oh, Indy, and then it saves. And I'm like, oh no.
Someone will remember that.
yeah. But just to confirm, nothing happens. It's like when you hold in a Call of Duty game where you hold a gun over someone's head and it just like goes X above it. You can't.
Oh my god.
I need to try.
Sean has. Did you try the whip?
Can you whip a nun? Would make an excellent episode title, but probably
unfortunately,
terrible.
And also, this is we call the draft, so up yours.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
keep forgetting that. We got that today. Shit. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. It's out now on your Xbox.
I think it's a shit name. Don't like the name of it.
It's not a great name, is it?
They've never been good names, though. Is it Temple of Doom?
Temple of Doom is great.
Temple of Doom's good.
No, it's great because it was a really successful film. But when you think about the title, the Temple of Doom,
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Come on,
that's
Raiders
a good name. No, that is a good name.
That's fine.
That is a good name.
The Last
What was
Crusade,
the other one?
lazy. And
Last
then you've
Crusade
got,
was lazy,
the Dial of Destiny, terrible.
Yeah, how many modern ones are there? There's a
Crystal
Crystal
Skull,
Skull.
Teams with a Crystal Skull, also not great. Yeah.
So how many modern ones have there been? 3.
My favourite Indiana Jones fact, with apologies to a few people in the WhatsApp group who I already told this to this morning. Have you ever seen the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, the TV show?
Yeah, I remember that.
I did like 2 seasons of it. So because that was all shot on location, the whole thing, the kid who plays Indiana Jones, he was like 12 or 13 or something. It was basically like, right, you've got the job. By the way, you're not going to see your family for 2 years. Like, you just gone. Just basically toured the world shooting this TV show for like 2 years and just never went home.
But if I was 12,
Nice.
13, that sounds like the greatest time
does sound alright.
ever.
Yeah. Screw you, Mum.
Yeah. Do I get sweets? Yep.
That's how they pay you.
All right, so there's actually only 2 modern Indiana Jones movies. It's just
Yeah.
that I feel like I've heard so much about it. I assume there's like 5 and they were all shit.
No, it's just they were 2 and they were both shit.
Shame.
All right. I'm going to rattle off a couple quickly because I haven't gone first for ages because I'm so humble. Balatro, I'm still smashing the shit out of that at the moment. I got 2 wins in a row today.
Nice.
2 wins in a row.
I've never won this game, but I played it last night and I was so close. And it was the last one it was like 300,000 and it was like, I can't. It was never going to happen. It was a shame.
300,000. The last one's usually 100,000.
No, I was looking it up and it was like you can, if you're unlucky, you can get that one, and that's the one I got.
Oh, was it the wall?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I got like an unlock that lets you re-roll the boss. It's just so good. Like the only tip that I've got for you, James, is focus on 2 pairs. If you just want to get to the end and not any further after that, focus on 2 pairs. any bonuses for the pairs unless it's got a foil card and then or a holographic. Just use them. 2 pairs are really easy to get, and also if you level them up enough using planet cards, forget about it. It's ridiculous. You smash it.
That's what I mean. That's how I was getting like really far until I got to like the 300,000. I was like, "This is so good." Like, I was sitting there and just like, I mean, I played it so many rounds last night because I was just like, "Oh, this is brilliant."
Yeah, it's a fucking great game. So I've been smashing that, and I finished Life is Strange episode 2. Matt spoke about it last week. Matt spoke about something that really made him laugh unintentionally. Did you say that in the pod?
Yeah,
you did, right?
Yes.
I think I know what that is because I've also finished this.
So I finished it. I don't think I know. So I'm looking forward to...
I thought I knew what it was because I said to Matt when I was halfway through, I think I know what it was. And he went, no, it happens right at the end.
Yeah, then I know exactly what it was.
Oh, okay.
And then when I saw what happened, something happened at the end, I thought, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to discuss.
I can't wait.
I had the exact same reaction.
Something that's supposed to be shocking by any chance?
Might be.
No, I think it's a
All
line.
Okay.
I think it's not supposed to be shocking.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah,
Alright.
I'm very excited to talk about that because it might
We
be
will
me
talk
in my
about that.
own head, but it made me laugh a lot.
I don't think it's very good, boys. I'll say that now at this point in time.
I agree with you.
Massively enjoying it.
I hope it's misdirection. I'm just a bit disappointed by how many story beats are just from the first game.
Yeah.
Oh, I've not picked up on that.
Well, I don't want to
Really?
get into it because it's not the spoiler
no,
cast,
of course
but
we'll do it on the spoiler cast.
I mean,
but
I just thought it was fucking boring. Honestly, that
yes, I find it boring, and I find all the characters being really sort of one note is getting on my fucking nerves a bit. It's like, can we have a little bit of look? There's one character in it, right? We'll talk about this, and we will do this again on the spoiler cast. But Lucas, right? Why does everyone like? What's Lucas done wrong at this point? I'm confused. The whole game is like Lucas is a dick and you should hate him, and I'm like, but why?
But in the first episode, he was kind of trying to sell his book based off
it was
the
just
tragedy,
because,
right? He was like leaning into it.
doing
the
off his social
self-promotion
media
stuff.
posts and stuff, which obviously are a completely
Sort
fair and
of.
accurate representation of someone. Yeah, he comes across as like quite smug and annoying.
Yeah, he's a bit smug, but
but
I
then-
think this.
Yeah, but then I've literally had one actual conversation with him, and
He seems alright.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested in discussing that bit. In
Yes.
the episode.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, we will do a spoiler cast on that.
I mean,
that's mainly what.
as ever, I probably enjoy the spoiler cast maybe more in the game, but I'm excited to hear what everyone says.
I
I was
cannot
just shocked
wait.
by how long it was. It felt like I started playing it on
It
Saturday,
did
wasn't
feel-
that long, James. It
and I
wasn't that long.
felt like I was playing. I felt like I was playing for like
Felt
2
like-
days. It
Felt
was
like 3
crazy.
hours, I guess, like 2.5. I mean, the first one was like 2ish, wasn't it?
I think it's just because the opening scene is really boring. Like it goes on.
Yeah.
It's not interesting.
All right.
We can talk about
Let's
that
not-
very briefly, right? That's when it introduces the new power for real.
Yeah. So the
And-
new power. I don't think we mentioned it on the show, have we? That the power is that she could see through 2 different timelines.
Yeah, you can jump timelines, and that's in the spiel and in the publicity around it and everything. So that's not a spoiler.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, and that the first way you are, you have to sort of wield it and use it for a puzzle is very like, okay, now hop to this timeline, then talk to this person, then hop back to the
Yeah.
other one, and then grab this item, and then hop back and talk to this person, then hop there, and it's like fucking hell.
I find it really frustrating because it was what's great about it is that there are 2 ways to view the other timeline. You find a place to transition to the other timeline, right? But you have to physically go there, press a button in it, and that's the way it controls puzzles.
Yeah.
But you can also at any point press a button. She holds her hands up, and you could see a ghost version of the other
Yes.
timeline at any point. The problem was I could have solved puzzles using that without having to transition to the other timeline.
And in some
The game's
ways,
like, no,
it's
you still got to go.
more effective storytelling wise, just getting that
Yes.
glimpse of the other world, but without then diving into it and interacting with people and stuff. But again, we'll get into it on
I
the
love the fact that, like, in that opening area, no one goes, "Why is Bax going to the toilet every 6 seconds?"
Yeah.
here?"
well, yeah, and sometimes she
Disappearing.
can like shift timelines just clearly in view of loads of people as well.
I've had that a couple of
Yeah.
times.
Yeah,
as well, yeah.
that's very odd.
very strange.
Also- Oh, can I say this? No, probably I can. Why is it that like the environment?
question.
Why is like the what's it called, like the weather and all that different in different timelines?
Yeah, I thought that.
That doesn't make
Oh
any
well,
sense.
it
butterfly
does
effect,
kind of
isn't
make
it?
sense.
You never really know what's happening.
It does make sense. Like that's consistent with Life is Strange as a thing. One of the representations of using your powers is that the universe is falling apart in many
spinning
different
out of
ways.
control
Yeah,
just
I
from
think
one
that does
difference, yeah.
totally fit in with the themes of the game.
But yeah, I know what you mean. It's sort of like, oh, it's because your friend is the one that makes the sun come out. And if she's not around, it's cloudy.
That's bollocks.
I don't want to go into this anymore because I've got something really
Yeah.
funny to say about the
Okay.
different timelines, and I can't because it's spoiler chat. So
Sound.
that's what I've been playing this week. Sean, let's
Hello,
finish your list off. We're all worried about the draft, so make it quick.
Yeah. Just it's a brief one. Blade and Sorcery Nomad. That's the Quest native version of Blade and Sorcery, which I've talked about a number of times. So the PC version hit 1.0 this year, and then more recently the Nomad version also did. So now it's got the proper campaign mode and stuff in it. I fucking love it. It's so good. It's we talked about how I sort of graduated from just stabbing people in the eyes constantly because it just seemed the most efficient way to take them out, to be like, no, I'm going to do this properly. I'm going to get a sword and
grew
a
up.
shield.
I became a big boy.
Yeah. I'm going to get a sword and a
That's real
shield,
growth.
and I'm going to like duel people properly. I'm going to parry, and then I'm going to stab them in the face. And then I've now reached the point in the campaign where everyone's wearing armor, and the face is the only soft point. So now I'm back to face stabbing again.
Back to your old ways.
Yeah. So
That's what the game wants me to do, if anything.
It's the way the game's designed. It's not my fault. I'm not weird. It's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, really enjoying that. But yeah, I just wanted to mention it.
See, I tried to follow in your footsteps with Behemoth.
Yeah.
Because
How was that?
you see, the thing is, I was hoping that was going to be very similar to Blade and Sorcery, and it kind of is, but also isn't, because you don't have that level of sort of like deforming people, if you sort of mean. Like it's like you can stab people and you can, but it hasn't got the same level of interactivity, which is kind of a shame.
That's the thing, isn't it? Because I found this like when I played Asgard's Wrath 2, which at the start of this year everyone was like, holy shit, 9 out of 10, it's not just a good VR game, it's just a really brilliant RPG. And I don't know, I enjoyed it for a bit and I kind of fell off it. But yeah, that very much felt like the fights they felt video gamey, right? Whereas, and then it was like, yes, I'm slashing, but the game's sort of reading it as if I've pressed A and I've done an attack, right? Whereas Blade and Sorcery is just a full mad physics simulation, and people react sort of realistically and what have you, and it's nuts. So yeah, Behemoth looked a bit more like Asgard's Wrath, right?
Yeah, it's certainly not the physics sort of side of things. Certainly do not feel like I think what I imagine that Blade and Sorcery is probably like. I mean, I played this on Saturday, not for the like Farley's Fresh Cuts, and I had the normal feelings of.
Love it when he drops that in. That Farley's, Farley's Fresh Cuts, which we
Yeah,
all know what that is.
It's a series that everyone's talking about.
It's true.
But I had the usual thing
It's
with
the
this.
spin-off no one asked for.
It's a spin-off that is probably not going to last for very much longer. But
I'm fed up with it already.
I asked you to stream something. What was it? Can you remember?
No.
And you went, no, I've got Farley's Fresh Cuts or whatever. And I was like, yeah, but this is a good idea.
What was it?
What
I
it
don't
was.
remember.
I'm gonna have to try and remember because it was good. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, I played Behemoth for like about 30 minutes or so before I got the usual feelings of nausea, which I'm getting, which is really strange. I still don't understand this because I didn't really get this before when I played VR, but more recently I'm starting to get it all the time, and I have to like stop and like not play for like a couple of minutes and then go back to it. And this, I mean, Behemoth seems fine so far. I mean, the thing that it's supposed to be about is that you're supposed to take down these massive monsters, but after an hour and about hour and 15 minutes or around 20 minutes or so, I still haven't come across one. So I don't know what that's like yet. And
I think there's only a handful. There's only like 5 of them or something in the game, right?
Yeah,
there's not a huge amount.
Quite spread out.
Because I think the whole game's only about like 4 or 5 hours long. It's not terribly long, but that didn't happen. I mean, it's fine. It just feels very basic so far, and I'm kind of disappointed with the lack of interactivity with it. Like that's what, as I said, I was expecting Blade and Sorcery, but it's not that. And for some reason, it really reminds me of Infinity Blade. Like I don't know if any of you remember.
I
That.
remember Infinity Blade. Everyone raved about it. I hated it. I thought it was so fucking dull, that game.
It was a
That,
tech
that,
demo,
that was the
wasn't it?
phone one, right? Where
Yeah,
you had
it
to
was
swipe.
the
Yeah,
Epic
I
one,
kinda
yeah.
hated that thing.
And then like they're pretty sure they released it on PC, and I was like, why? and I liked it on phones, but I was just like, yeah, but it doesn't warrant anything else. Like, it doesn't warrant being ported to any other platform. But,
No, it does not.
yeah.
I mean, I think the reason that was big, wasn't it? Because it was like it looked amazing, like at the time.
Yeah, it was
you know,
a
for
very
like
cool tech. It wasn't like the first like Unreal Engine game on phones or something.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
But this kind of reminds me of that because it feels like you're sort of like going between areas, and then like each area sort of ends with like some big thing that you've got to fight, and it's the same kind of mechanic of like having to like deflect stuff, and then trying to like get a cheeky sort of hit in and stuff like that, and it was
cheeky.
Yeah.
Cheeky little hit.
And it was fine. I kind of enjoyed it, but then also I was a bit disappointed, as I said, because it was not as violent as I thought it was going to be. That's the main reason. It's like I was expecting I was going to be like chopping limbs off and stuff, and that does happen when you finally get this ability, which is like this like sort of strength ability where you can like sort of like punch people through walls and stuff. But it's still it doesn't feel as good as like as I was expecting, which is kind of a shame. But yeah,
Just quickly before
Alright.
we move off VR, I completely forgot to put it on my list. Walkabout Mini Golf, the new Christmas.
Yeah, I don't
course.
want to hear about it, Sean. Me and my
Okay.
friends are going to make a whole appointment about
Oh,
that.
mate. Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah, of course it is.
I do want to hear about it. Is it good, Sean?
No, I mean, I won't go into specific because it's the little acts of discovery that make these as good as they are. But yeah, just really beautiful sort of distillation of Christmas vibes. It's just fucking lovely. It's so nice. I did it on my own because I thought, do you know what? Actually, that'll be a nice thing to do. And yeah, weirdly emotional. That's some of it.
Ooh.
Sobbing.
Just how fucking I know we always roll our eyes at like cozy games, but it fucking is, man. It's
You say we roll our eyes. James
Yeah,
Farley
just
rolls
James, I
his
think.
eyes at cozy games. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, it's just beautiful. It's just so nicely done, and yeah, they go quite easy on the hidden balls on this one as well. Like I know they have been really difficult lately, or they've been getting worse.
they have, haven't they?
Yeah. Whereas this one's like, nah, it's just kind of. No, there it is, just lying on the
There's a
sides.
ball, yeah.
Why not? Yeah, don't worry about it. And then the riddles afterwards were really good as well. Did them?
See,
straight
I've
away.
still not done any of those.
Oh man,
Yeah, I was gonna
they're
ask
really
about
good.
Yeah.
So
Really
so
good.
every hard mode of every course are riddles basically.
Yes, a
F-
series of
fucking riddled
riddles,
with it,
and
mate.
then yeah, good
Brilliant.
word play. And yeah, and then you get the club for that course by doing all the riddles.
Oh, I forgot you get new clubs, don't you?
Yeah,
I
no.
need to do. I might do a couple of riddles on my own then, just to do them,
They're good.
and
They're
then
really good fun.
get a club so I can go.
Yeah.
"Oh, look at my mate.
But yeah,
all
sorry,
right,
that's
okay.
me done.
Matt, you've got Indika.
Yeah, have anyone talked about Indika on this?
Never heard of it.
show?
I haven't. I've got it, and I've been meaning to play it because I've heard
Yeah,
good things.
I thought, okay, I need to play a game because there's a draft coming up.
I did
I
wonder
better
about
play.
this. It's
I better play a
Guess which
2024
game
game.
Matt's picking.
You will never guess. Yeah, Indika. It's I heard it was good. And it's like an indie game. And I thought, all right, it's also crucially 4 hours long. So of course I'm gonna snap that up. Yeah, Indika. You play as Indika.
Oh, is
who?
this the game? Hold on. Maybe
What?
I'm exposing ourselves a little bit too much. Is this the game, Sean, that you messaged me saying Matt's playing Indika? No, of course he is. It's only 4 hours long.
that was me.
It
I
was
think.
James.
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
James,
you-
James tipped me off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not stupid. I don't have much time. Of course, I'm gonna find a short game.
I mean, visually it looks great. I looked it up. The graphics look insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, the graphics are really good and also weird because there's other kind of graphical styles that they choose for other little bits which are totally different to the basically the realism they go for most of the games. So you play as Indika. It's a nun who basically in the nunnery everyone hates her, and she's sent on like a mission to deliver this letter. And along the way she meets someone else, and it's basically about her and this other person and their kind of missions together. But the most interesting thing is that she's joined also by the devil, who is constantly kind of talking to her and trying to make her go one way and tell her she's one kind of person when maybe she isn't. She's trying to work out who she really is. Is she bad? Is she good? But it's a really, really strange game. There's a bit very early scene where Indika is talking with one of the other people in the nunnery, and she's like seeing something, and you see like one of the nuns open her mouth, and like a little human comes out of the mouth of the other person. It's like she's like seeing these like weird things because the devil's talking to her, making her see weird stuff, and it's just a strange game overall. Like it uses camera angles in a really interesting way. Almost it feels it's incredibly cinematic. But just the way, like whether it's like a low down camera angle to really like showcase scale, or just like or lots of kind of shaky cam stuff. It looks it's really interesting in that regard, and it just
Did you finish it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did.
I
Well,
look
it's only
forward
4
to hearing
hours.
more about this next Monday.
Well, I'm cards on the table, Matt. If you are nominating this, I will try and play it because I've been meaning to.
Yeah.
And this is a fine excuse.
Isn't it
to do
spooky
so.
though? Isn't it a scary?
No,
one?
no, it's
I
not
don't
scary.
think
No.
so.
Oh, is it
I
not?
wondered if because I didn't actually know anything about it other than I heard other people talk about it. It was 2024, it's an indie game and it's short. And then when I went to like buy it, I was like, oh, the devil. I was like, oh, hang on, is this horror? But it's basically kind of like like a dark comedy, I guess you
Because it's
might
borderline
describe
comedy,
it.
isn't it? It's,
But yeah, it has like things
Really?
like
You don't get
Yeah.
that from like clips of it. I'm just like looking at clips of it, and I'm like,
the trailers
this
are
looks
quite
scary.
silly.
yeah, it is. It's a silly game. Like so, there was also flashbacks. Now, the game is gorgeous at many points. Almost it goes for photorealism. Not sure what engine it uses, but it looks absolutely gorgeous with lighting and reflections and all this. And a lot of it is set amongst like snowy, kind of slushy areas where you're traveling across. And then there are flashbacks where it goes like top-down pixel art. And you're playing these like kind of like flashbacks where it could be like a platform section or Pac-Man influence section. So it's very
I
very
gotta
weird.
play this then.
There's
I wanna
also
play this.
there's loads of kind of artifacts you collect, and they give you points, and those points open like a skill tree, but the skill tree largely means nothing. And there was even like a couple of messages saying like. Miss points mean nothing, skill points mean nothing. It's quite meta and weird, and yeah, it's kind of fascinating. I mean, I'm not really into religion and Christianity, but it tries to kind of have some questions about what is good, what is bad, and the person you meet and their journey and how that affects Indika. I thought it was it's really worth playing. I'm not saying it's like a stunning game, but I just think like it's just really interesting.
You're supposed to be bigging this up for the pod next week, Matt.
Well, you don't know what I'm gonna do.
I know what you're gonna do.
You
I
don't
know,
know.
I know what you can't do. Nominate many of the games that come out this year.
I can actually, I can nominate loads. Actually, I just haven't finished them.
Nominate whatever you want.
How have I not heard of this? This came out in May. I don't know, man. I think you're lying.
What do you mean you think he's lying?
In
About
what
how good it
aspect?
is?
I don't know, actually. I just think he's lying.
Well, I remember seeing like the artwork, and then I thought it was a horror at the time, but yeah, it's not. It's great. It's
It's definitely
interesting.
come up in like the group we're in with Sarah. She's brought it up. I'm pretty sure she's.
All right, sorry, Sarah.
Okay. Sorry, Sarah.
Sorry, Sarah.
Yeah.
I think it's just really interesting. I think it's worth playing. It's not perfect. I mean, there are like some kind of instant fail bits which kind of got a little bit annoying. But I think it's short and it's sweet. Well worth playing, I reckon.
All right, mate. That might be on my list. Depends if it's nominated. James, do we really need to speak about Mario and Luigi Brothership again?
I mean, yeah, I'm still playing this and I'm finding it enjoyable. So far.
why? Oh, okay.
But
Okay, of
I
course you
think
are.
no. I think it's because I'm taking my time with it, and I can really see why this did badly in reviews. Because it's one of those things where I think if you're rushing through it to like finish it for a review, you probably would
Always
hate
the
it more.
reviewer's
What
problems.
an
You're-
accusation.
yeah, he did the same thing about coloured. Was it the colour splash?
Oh,
Yeah, that's a fucking brilliant game that was, and it got.
Oh, what? But the
totally
reviewers
hammered.
didn't. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
They were
but the
wrong.
reviewers didn't play it properly.
And it's their fault.
always
No,
like
but
that
if
with
you're
these
if you're
games.
rushing through something, sometimes it's like it's you're not going to enjoy it as much.
Tell me
That's
about it,
something
Are you
mate.
enjoying it now?
I'm enjoying it. It's fine.
Cool.
It's a nice
Looking forward to catching up with that at the start of the year next year. Should we get
Or
to
in about
it?
15 minutes.
Yeah, should we get to it?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Go on,
Draft.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not listened to a TCGS GOTY show before, you are in for a treat. Here is how it works. Today, we will take it in turns picking our favourite games of the year. In total, we will pick 4 games each to be entered into the Game of the Year show. Once the 4 games each have been picked, we will pick a wild card which you will get to vote on. only one of the games in the wildcard pool can make it through to the Game of the Year show. You get to vote on that by going to Twitter, TCGS Co on Twitter or X. A poll will go live at 12 p.m. on Wednesday, the 11th of December, and it will close at 12 p.m. on Saturday, the 14th of December. The winner of the wild card means that whoever picked that wild card, their games are immune and they will all be in the hat for the Game of the Year show. We then have to discuss who has to lose a game and have it replaced by the wild card. And the way the Game of the Year show works is that all of the games get put into a hat, except for the ones that have been kicked out prior due to the wild card situation that I mentioned. They all get put into a hat and they're pulled out one by one to face off against each other. For a game to go through, it has to get at least 3 votes. There are 4 of us. Sometimes we don't agree. That's where the arguing, the deals, the bartering, and the overall carnage comes into play. This is how we pick our Game of the Year. And it's how we've ended up with Games of the Year like Trackmania and Life is Strange Season 2. But today we're doing our draft, and everyone points out to us how unfair the draft is, but that's the fucking point. One change we are making to the draft this year that the guys don't know about is that you 3 are picking which order we're going in.
What?
And how are you doing that? What? Well, have a look under my tree. For the listeners, there is some sort of box. I will go and get it.
I can't even see what he's talking
Didn't
about.
agree to these new rules. What's
Yeah,
going on
and
here?
this how's this happened?
I think it's like one of those advent calendars, but where you're supposed to put the stuff in yourself.
Okay, it's an advent calendar where you have to put the stuff in yourself.
Okay.
Oh, I love them.
It's the kids advent calendar, and I will tell you there is a name in door 1, there is a name in door 2, there is a name in door 3, and there is a name in door 4. I wrote our names down, screwed them up, muddled them up. I have no idea who's under which door. James, you get to pick the first number. 1, 2, 3, or 4.
I will pick door 2, please.
Door 2 is your choice, which is this door. Here we go. Who have you chosen to go first?
Why do I feel sick? This is
Yeah,
this
I feel
bit,
I
this
hate-
bit should be
It's
fun. I'm
supposed
already
to be
like
fun. The first one out the hat is Sean Bell. Sean Bell, you get to pick first, my friend. What is your first pick for Game of the Year 2024?
Balatro.
Balatro. And as you were picked out, you get to pick the next number. 1, 3, or 4.
3, please.
Or number 3. Here we go. Let's get the little slip out of the door and open it up and see what the next name is. Next name is David.
Wow.
Okay, I need to consult my list because I genuinely haven't got a plan and it's scaring the life out of me. I'm gonna go. Oh, shit! I wanted to get. I did want to come out later.
Well, I can't. I don't get that. But okay.
Well, I've played more than 4 games, Matt.
So have I, dickhead.
Helldivers 2. I'll go Helldivers 2. That's going to be my first pick. I'm not going to pick who the next name is, so I'm going to let Matt pick the next name.
What's left? Oh, 1 and 4.
1 or 4.
Go another 1, please.
Here we go. Good luck, everyone. And number 1 is a little slip here in the box. Who have we got? Who have we got? It is Matt Murray. Please let it be the game that you just spoke about.
I'm gonna go Astrobot.
And as Astro Bot. And James, you're obviously, let's complete it's like the end of Deal or No Deal. Let's complete the game.
Yeah.
Under door 4 is it's Matt again. No, it's not. It's James. It's James. James Farley.
Okay, send it out to die every year, like a dragon, infinite wealth.
Okay. So that brings us back to Sean Bell, please. Here we go. This way gets interesting.
Animal well.
Animal well.
It's
so annoying that we can't talk about that because I think that is a very interesting choice. I'm going never, neither, neither. Matt.
I like the three of us are writing this down. Like we can.
It's all right.
I'm just don't keep track because I always lose track as we go, and then I'm like, oh, fuck, what did everyone else choose?
Yep.
I'm gonna go. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
So we're already in games he's not actually played.
Are we? Are we?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, I just don't. I think there's others
James
you probably
Farley.
aren't going to choose.
Okay, all right.
Silent Hill 2.
Sean Bell.
Ultros.
Of course.
Oh, that's on my list. Nah.
Okay, let me just double check that I want to make this move at this point.
He's got no plan, you
I
said.
do. I do, actually. Yeah, Black Ops 6. Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Okay. Matt.
Senua Saga Hellblade 2.
You better hope you win the wild card, boy. James Farley.
Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Yep. Sure.
Oh, this is a tough one.
We're getting into it now, aren't we?
It's between two.
I'm delighted with the way this has gone. Delighted.
Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess.
How the fuck
And
do you spell
how
that?
do you spell that?
I'll just put keep. Okay, go for it. Forget it.
I'm going Harold Halibut.
Oh, no.
That wasn't on your list.
No. On your list.
What?
I knew it was going to be on your list.
Okay. You're an
Um,
odd man.
yeah. Oh, do I? No, too soon for that.
Too soon for that. It's your last choice.
That's gonna. Yeah.
No, I know what Matt's planning.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I know what I'm planning. Okay, I'm gonna go. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes.
The game that Matt said many times on this show that he just didn't like.
Yeah.
No, you're getting confused with another game.
But crucially, it is a game he has played.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Slim
It's true.
pickings.
All right. Oh, someone's made a deal. James Farley.
Oh, this is quite difficult now. Ooh. So I've got 4 games sitting in front of me here. I'm not sure which one to go for. I mean, which of these can I convince? I can't convince you. I'll give you any of these anyway. I mean, maybe for a bit of fun. Star Wars Outlaws?
Wanker. Wanker. Absolute wanker. All right. Yeah, that's really pissed me off, actually. That was my wild card. That was my wild card. That was a guaranteed win for the wild card. Absolutely robbed from me there. Right, so the games nominated so far, we've all picked our 4, and then it is on to the wild cards. Sean has Balatro, Animal Well, Ultros, and Something Path of the Goddess.
Kunitsugami.
There we go.
Wow,
I've got
that's not
Helldivers 2, Never Neither Neither, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Harold Halibut. Matt has got Astrobot, Indiana Jones and the Circle of Something, Hellblade 2, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. James has Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Silent Hill 2, Prince of Persia, Lost Crown, and Star Wars Outlaws. It's now time to pick our wild cards. You get to vote on this on Wednesday. This is important. If you win your wild card pick, you get to keep all your games in for Game of the Year. If you don't, then your games are at risk. Sean
I'm
Bell,
so sorry to
what's
do
your
this.
wild
You mean Hellblade 2 is at
Mara's
risk?
whining at me to be let out. 2 minutes. I know, I'm sorry.
What
but
a time for this to happen.
Absolutely
Right, as quick as I
outrageous.
can.
I'm going to
Sorry.
put the 2-minute intro music in at this point.
Can I go get some more cheese while he's doing that?
Yes.
I mean,
How
why
many
not?
times have you got? Oh, you've been drinking, didn't you?
Bloody hell. Dave, should we make a deal while them two are gone?
No, I've seen your games. You ain't got nothing to offer me, boy.
You don't know that.
You ain't got nothing to offer me.
My word, is that not enough?
No.
No, okay.
It's never been enough.
It has been enough in the past.
I can't believe they've chosen now. Are any of you familiar with the concept of swapping draft picks? Yeah, we're not doing that. No, because then that you get less. No, we're not swapping draft picks. You get less invested in your picks. It needs to be. You need to go in for it. You need to know this is all or nothing
Yeah,
every time you pick
and
a game.
it is.
All right.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Right. It's time for your wild pick.
The wild
Wild
pick.
card pick.
Wild pick.
Your wild pick. Oh
Time
my
for the
God.
wild pick. Wild pick. Wild pick.
Sean, what are you going for?
UFO 50.
I'm going for Thank Goodness You're Here. Matt, this would be interesting.
I think earlier, David, you said you had so many games, you probably had too many. Which ones were on your list that you haven't?
In fact, actually, do you know what? I'm genuinely surprised that everyone's picked all the ones that I definitely wanted on that list. The only one that hasn't been picked. Do you want it? You can have it.
Well, can
Are
I
you
hear it
definitely
first?
Are we allowing this? Is this legal?
Well, let's hear it.
I mean,
Let's see what he's got
Okay,
to
well,
say.
me have
Bullshit,
two
mate.
wild picks. I will give it to you if you promise you won't ditch my game if you win. You're not going to win. There's
This
no
is
point
bullshit.
doing that deal. I said this, Sean. You don't know this, but when you went away just now,
Yeah.
Dave,
Matt
no,
went-
Dave, no, do not. Just
Go on.
don't say
Matt went-
anything.
Go on.
Matt went, "Do you want to make a deal?" And you've got nothing, Matt. You've got nothing to
No,
offer
but
anyone.
my vote means something. It's not about the games. It's not about
yeah, it does. But like I was about to say, hey, if your wild card pick wins, I'll give you. If you give me immunity, I'll do it. But it's not going to win. And also, there's one on your list that's definitely going. If someone else's wild card,
100%.
just because you cunts haven't. Did you play like much of Hellblade 2?
mate, you could play it for 10 minutes and you played most of it.
Yeah.
Well, what does that mean?
It means it was a bad game, Matt.
It wasn't a bad game. It was a great game.
Okay. Okay, I'll tell you because I don't think it will help you at all. The only one that I had on my list that didn't get picked was a Ranger.
Yeah, I really like that. That was on my list. That was my seventh best game of the year.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh, that's a good fucking move, actually. That's a good move, actually. Okay, I'd forgotten all about that game. Interesting. James Farley, what's your wild card?
My wild card this year is the Nintendo Alamo.
He's done it again. He's fucking done it again.
What's great is I spent all day thinking, is there like a joke game I can
that's
do as
great.
my wild
That is-
card?
What a prick.
And he's
He's done it again. That is funny.
Quality software. Looking forward to talking about it.
I mean, it's not a game though.
Kind of is, Sean. I think you
Is
find
it?
it is. Yeah.
Is it?
Moving
Okay,
around in the
can I-
bed.
So can I change my wildcard to Microsoft Excel?
Not quite the same, though, is it?
A fridge.
I'm surprised none of you went for Flight Sim.
It's all right.
It's great.
But it's
not
so
different
similar to
enough.
the last one.
Yeah. That was
Yeah,
threw me
yeah.
off.
Yeah,
Did anyone
Arranger.
else have a
Arranger I
game
really
on
liked
their
actually.
list? Yeah, Arranger was good. I think it. Look, it was never going to win, was it? So
No, but it's still a good game.
I think there are games on my list that I know aren't going to win, but I'm so happy. Well, fingers crossed. If all goes well, I'll be able to talk about them. Like yeah, I'm very, very happy with how this panned out because I was really worried that some of my games that I really wanted to discuss next week with a passion, I was really worried they weren't going to make it, and all of mine sort of made it. So I'm very surprised that some of you. Oh, can we talk about it?
Well,
We
I don't know what
usually
you're saying.
don't,
right?
but I.
No, we usually
Go on.
don't.
Go on.
I
Go on,
was
what?
very, very surprised that you nominated Animal Well.
Really.
I thought it was
Really?
me that
Oh.
just loved it as much as I did.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
no,
it's good
I,
with one
I,
of you
know I
two.
didn't go as deep as you, but no, I really liked it.
So with Helldivers, I was thinking, do I do Helldivers or Animal Well? That's where my head was at.
Mm.
So it was like, holy shit. Okay, all right, okay, all right. Let's go. So
What other titles were like? What other titles on your list didn't quite hit the top for wildcard? There must have something else that was like.
No, that's it. No, that was it.
No.
Arranger was the only one that didn't quite make it. But I look at those games, and most of what you've all said, you look at the games that you've mentioned, and I've played the majority of them, and I've really enjoyed the majority of them. So it's, and the games that I haven't played, like Ultros and UFO 50 and games like that, I just go, fuck, man, I really want to play them as well. You know what I mean? It's just that I
Really-
haven't got a PC.
Really want to play like a dragon Infinite Wealth, yeah? It's, yeah.
I actually do,
So
but there's no
that's-
way I'll have time by next week.
I don't know. I mean, like, I'll be honest. This is probably the first year where someone's chosen 4 games I've barely played. I know it's been a shit year. Let's go over that. But like, I haven't played Infinite Wealth. Haven't played Silent Hill 2. I know I'll probably love it. Although it does look quite scary. I played like an hour of Prince of Persia, and same
Yeah,
for
Prince of
Outlaws.
Persia was on my list. Star Wars Outlaws was on my list. I was hoping that was being nominated too, because it gives me an excuse to go and finish it this week. Because I know I'm near the
Yeah.
end.
What can I try and finish like this week? Like, often Sean comes in with like 2 unknown bangers. We're like, quick. How long's Infinite
mean, I
Wealth,
will-
James?
About 50 or 60 hours.
How long's
The big
Silent Hill 2,
one.
James?
About 20 hours.
How long's Lost Crown?
About 10, 15, I think you could do that in.
Outlaws?
30 or 40.
For fuck's sake. Okay, well.
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying,
They're our picks.
Ultros and Kunitsigami are probably about 15 hours apiece.
Interesting.
Just saying.
Matt, don't bother. It's fine. You fucked it this year.
I
Just
haven't.
pick up
Well,
the
I
slack
have.
next year.
I have kind of fucked it this year. I'm sorry, everyone.
Okay. Next week, our GOTY show. There are our picks. There are the wild cards. Look out for the poll on Twitter, X. We had a discussion about whether we should use that fucking website to do this. I think at the moment it's the easiest way of doing it and the best way of getting as many votes as possible, which is important to us. So I know a lot of you have ditched that platform. Most of us are on Blue Sky now rather than Twitter or X, but they don't do polls, so it
No,
makes
not
it
yet.
a little bit more frustrating. We'll look to try and do a different a different way of holding the poll next year. But for now, Wednesday, if you've still got an account, log in. Choose your vote and then scramble your password so you never have to log in again. That's the way to do it, isn't it? Yeah, Wednesday, 12 p.m. Get voting. I can't wait to see which one comes out on top on that because I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know which way it's going to go. Should we do a couple of questions before we call it a night? Because we are way over time.
Yeah.
This week.
We'll do a couple of quick ones. Jackie Sniper says, "Hi lads, just looking for a bit of last minute advice. Any words of encouragement for making a best man speech? I've got my best mate's wedding next Saturday and we'll be saying a few words. I think it's all pretty watertight and I've practiced it, even without notes, countless times, but I fucking hate public speaking. Any words of encouragement would be much appreciated. Cheers.
I've got a good tip that I always tell people in this situation. Focus more on being nice than being funny.
Yeah.
That is, you can make jokes, obviously, and, sometimes they go down well. So everyone will love it if you're just really nice. If you just go, do you know what, he's my best mate, and I love him to pieces, and to see him so happy. Focus more on being nice than being funny. If you're worried about being funny, then fill it with being nice.
Unless, of course, Jackie, you've memorised your script and it is non-stop wall-to-wall bangers of jokes. We're not saying rip it up.
Then stay with
but,
that. Then keep with that.
Yeah, we've been over this before. Like, I don't think I've been to a wedding where like the best man speech has been like, anything other than, but everyone's happy, everyone's having a lovely time. All the friends and family are there. Like, I think you've got to do a lot to mess up. Like, people are happy to be there.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to a
really
wedding where
mess
I've had
up.
like a really bad mess up because everyone's.
I've been to loads
you?
where they've been really bad and gone down badly. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, really? Gone down badly?
Yeah. Sorry, Jackie. That's not what you're going to hear right now. But yeah.
Okay.
But as in, not because they weren't funny, because there's something inappropriate in them, or...
No, both.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Wow, tough
Yeah.
crowd.
Yeah. Remember that. If you've got an inappropriate joke, remember someone's nan's going to be there.
Yeah.
Just the inappropriate stuff you don't need to do. My brother.
Unless
all
it's
my
about
brother
the
did was
nan,
play
that'd be
bits of
really
my
funny.
Fucking podcast. Oh yeah, that would be good. Yeah. I told you the riskiest joke my brother made was so Joe's a Tottenham fan. I knew there must be a reason why she was wearing white today. That was risky. Do you not remember that, James?
I do not remember that. No.
That was
I
risky.
that's-
Do you remember him playing bits of Joypod out?
Yeah, that's the only thing I do
remember
remember.
that,
Yeah,
Awkward
that
as
was great.
fuck.
That got loads of laughs
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
for us. Yeah.
do remember
Yeah, I
that.
mean, ultimately, Jackie, you've done the best thing. You've practiced it, you've memorized it, you can do it without notes. So that's the thing that will help with confidence on the day. Like if you've
100%.
got it in the back of your head, you're not like looking at the cards constantly. That is a thing where you can take it into your own, can't you? After that,
And
I think.
don't stress too much about doing it word for word either. If you're going without the notes, if you end up winning it or
freestyle.
missing a few bits out, like no one's gonna know. Like
No one's gonna know. Do 2 shots beforehand, and you'll be having a lovely old time.
Unless there's like 10 minutes of callbacks at the end of the speech and you forgot the bit
Yeah.
that you're calling back to. Yeah. That could be an issue.
And that's the yoke. Maybe squeeze that in.
yeah, get one of those in.
Yeah.
Lee says, "What do you think of each other's musical tastes, and do any of them align?"
I think for the most part they do. There's
Wank.
a hell of a lot of crossover, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I should
it's
think
quite a
so.
bit
Yeah.
crossover. I think I'm probably closest with James.
I mean, I will say I did look at Sean's Spotify Wrapped, and I could hardly pronounce any of the artists, let alone know or recognise them.
I thought I cross over with Matt a lot more than I did. But yeah, again, the Spotify rap thing was like Taylor Swift and all that. I'm just like, that's not my thing.
Yeah.
James, I know we really cross over quite a lot.
Yeah,
But-
mostly with like rock music.
But
and
you
stuff, innit?
you have a dead end to your musical taste. That's what, which is not a diss. It's not a diss at all, because I get that, and I was like that for a long time as well. But it was like music stopped in the late 90s, early 2000s, didn't it for you? And that was it.
I've
There's
got
no
a
more
bit
bands.
of that. Yeah, there's been some stuff that I like that's like newer stuff as well. But yeah, I'm very
Like
lazy
what?
as well. What do you mean? Like more recent like Queens of the Stone Age stuff. I really like.
Yeah, that new
And-
stuff's been alright. Yeah.
yeah.
I can't recommend Discover Weekly enough on Spotify. It's great. Oh, you're not on Spotify? I keep forgetting this. You're fully in the Apple ecosystem. I saw a video. It was a TikTok the other day of saying, and it really made me laugh. It was when everyone else is talking about Spotify Wrapped.
Yeah, I've
Hey
seen
guys,
this
does
one.
anyone
Yeah.
want to hear about my Apple highlights? I was like, no. It really made me giggle.
Raps was a bit shit this year, though, wasn't it?
It didn't feel as
Yeah, it
creative
was
as
a
previous years.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
whole-
mine
it
was
was
not a surprise
Funny
either.
made up
But,
genres.
Oh, I hate that. Yeah, I hate that. And I like,
It was really
oh,
annoying me because when they first started doing that, everyone was tweeting about them, being like, "Oh, look at this nonsense! Spotify's come up with it." It's like, yes, and you're tweeting about it, so it's worked. Well done.
Yep. Yeah. I had 2 likes from bands that were in my top 5.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's
good.
the usual ratio.
Fontaines and Chaperone did not like my Blue Sky posts, so
Is it not?
Ouch.
fuck y'all.
Ouch. But yeah, no, I think we all respect each other's music. There are parts, like I'm sure there is with me, Sean, but there are parts of Sean's music where I'm like, what is going on here? Like, and I mentioned it before when I was in your car, and then I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Is your radio broken?
Yeah, I remember you saying like, look, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just
What
the
is
really
most
different.
Sean Bell thing to
Yeah, and I'm sure you feel the same about when I'm going, Kasabian and la 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 la.
But then you listen to a lot of stuff that I would not have heard of otherwise. Like, you clearly go out of your way to find things you like more than most people, I think.
There is a movement of, like, I like bands, right? I've never, like, I have liked electronic music in the past, but I like bands. And I specifically like regionalised British bands, right? That's what I go for. And this year has been insane for it. Like, some of the music that's come out, there's a band called Big Special who are incredible. They were my top pick this year, album of the year and everything. But even more mainstream stuff, and you say mainstream, it's still not massively mainstream, but The Last Dinner Party are incredible, and Yard Act's brought out another great album, Courting and Kid Capici. And there are so many British bands like coming to the forefront now that I'm just so excited about new music, and I've not been like this for ages. There was a huge gap, and John spoke about it on his, I think it was his YouTube channel, and he said, I've got a friend who's recently getting into new music again, and he puts it down to that we had kids. And suddenly discovering new music, you kind of want to go back to the familiarity of listening to Nirvana and, you know, an old Queens of the Stone Age, and, you know, stuff like that, stuff that you're familiar with, because you've not got the patience to find new stuff. But holy shit, there is some good stuff out there. I've got to send you a song actually that you might like, Sean. Lambrini Girls is fucking brilliant. Like, I was obsessed with it. I listened to it over and over again. You might like it. I don't know. It's punk. I don't
like
know
any of that stuff.
What I would say is that we never really argue about music, though, do we?
No,
No, it's not worth doing
That's
that.
never-
It's
You've never
also
sent me
subjective,
anything. I've
isn't
just
it?
been like, what the fuck is this?
No. You just tend to go to quiet. I'm like, Sean, you got to hear this, and then
No,
you just
because
don't reply.
it's one of those, isn't it? Because
And I'm like, I didn't like it.
if I'm not wild about it, like, and I know how much it means to you. Do you know what I mean? So I don't want to be like, yeah, really.
John, you can't go any wrong, because John, even if he likes it, tells me he hates it just to wind me up. That's what he does. He's admitted that on podcasts. It's fucking infuriating, and he knows it's infuriating.
I really appreciate you recommending the new Future Islands album, because I absolutely love that, David.
It's
And I didn't even realise it was
incredible, isn't
out until you said it.
Yeah, no, did I?
Yeah, it's great.
So good. It's so
very
good.
good.
Give me my ghost book. It's but that band, honestly, we got to go and see them live. John wants to see them live too. Can we go and see them live,
Yeah.
Matt?
I've seen them live
we've got
before,
to
but yeah, I'll see them
experience
again.
it. Have you really? Where did
Yeah,
you
I
see
saw
them?
them at a tiny venue in Leeds called the Brunel Social Club. Like, I guess when after that album dropped and banged. Yeah.
I said to my brother this week, we went to see Electric Six again in O2 Islington, and they were fucking brilliant. They're just so funny. I don't know much of their music, and I don't listen to their music outside a live show, but they're just brilliant. They're just one of these like brilliant live bands, right? And I just said to my brother on the way out, I think that's my favourite. I think live music is my favourite. You know, I like to think, it's
is
football,
incredible.
but no, I think live music is my favourite. I just love it. There's nothing better than. I just hope, I hope the boys get into that shit. Like, that's the one. I'm not
most
expecting
people
to
are
go
into
to gigs
music.
with them. I'm not expected to go to. Yeah, but I never had it in my family growing up. Like, we never listened to music. They never put music on. They barely had music in the car. It was we were not a music family. And then when you start discovering it yourself, you're like, how are you not a music family?
Yeah.
Music is, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Anyway.
like we definitely music family. Like, every single car journey was music all the time, and it had loads of CDs. But like, I don't ever really remember the stereo being played at home. But yeah, every time we're in a car, it's just music.
I'll
and-
never
See, we
forget.
always
right?
we often had music on, but yeah, like gigs were never like I had to decide for myself to start going to gigs as like in my
Yeah,
late
same.
teens
Yeah.
rather.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
never, yeah, it wasn't something we did as a family.
Whereas
Um,
Joe's mum like saw Elton John in the Fairfield Halls in Croydon. Do you know what I mean? Like she would go, and you know they were the days where you had to queue up overnight to get tickets the night before the gig because you couldn't, can't just get them on Ticketmaster.
Yeah, obviously, these days you go and take a Ticketmaster and queue for 2 hours and you don't get them. So
Yeah.
Much
Or
better,
you
isn't
can
it?
for an extra £700
Yeah.
a ticket.
It's funny though,
Um,
like I say, we often had music on in the house and stuff, and I thought I had like a pretty good grasp of like what my mum and dad liked. But then I remember I just found a Smiths album in the house and was just like, "Oh, what's this?" and put it on and fucking loved it. It was a different time. I was like
Yeah.
15. And yeah, and I remember just being like, "Mum, like, why didn't you never mentioned this before?" And then obviously you then look, it's like the Smiths were huge. Why did you not tell me about the fucking Smiths? Like, like the album was just lying around in the house, and I had to just find it myself.
I'll never forget when we were kids and we went on a like a big family trip to France, and my uncle got out of the car and he looked pale, and he said what it was. We were like, "What's up?" He said, "Well, what it was, we got a tape deck in the car." And we were going to France, so like we couldn't tune into French radio. So I asked my daughter to make a mixtape so that we can listen to music. And she just put Teenage Dirtbag on both sides all the way through on repeat.
Wow.
She said, I've listened to that song about 20 times, and then I had to stop it. And then an hour went past, and they now asked for the Teenage Dirtbag song to be put on
Oh,
again.
Oh, that's
Dang.
insane. That'd be like eject and just chuck out the window
Yeah.
on the motorway.
I'm
I
just
think.
a teenage
I like that
dirtbag.
Wheatus album. For my sins.
I've thought about
Can
getting
we do? So my brother-in-law did a sponsored event where he listened to
Yeah, Chesney Hawks.
Chesney Hawks on repeat for 24 hours. Can we do that with James and Teenage Dirtbag?
No, thank you.
24 hours of listening to Teenage
charity,
Dirtbag.
James. Do you hate charity?
Tickets for Ryan
Maiden, baby.
And my brother thought that my brother genuinely thought the lyrics was I'm just a teenage stupid baby. And I went, what? The song's called Teenage Dirtbag,
Dirtbag,
Michael. I didn't get it. Sorry, right, that's music summed up.
Tick.
Very quick one. Tea towel says the brief Weetabix mention had me thinking warm milk or cold milk with them.
Cold milk.
Yeah,
Next.
who has warm milk with
No
any
milk.
cereal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean porridge. That's it, isn't it? I don't. Yeah,
You
warm
wouldn't
milk.
do it with anything else. It's only porridge. But yeah,
I
cold
mean,
milk.
I don't know if you've looked in the Discord. There's been some deviant cereal chat going on in there this week.
I did see some, and I had to delete my Discord account because it was horrendous, and I think
What
it should
was
be
it?
banned.
What was the worst opinion?
Well, it's just everyone going on about mixing cereals. Kurt's obsessed with grape nuts. It's just
Okay, when I saw that, it used to be a treat when I was little when I had cereal, and I was like, oh, if like maybe you're running out of Rice Krispies, we got Frosties. It did feel a bit special to put like, oh, the last of the Rice Krispies onto Frosties. So I do get that, but I wouldn't purposely have two boxes and bang them both in. That's like an end of the box
doesn't it?
treat, isn't it?
wild.
It's just
Yeah.
ruining it.
No,
Like, I
because
don't
you're
know why
creating
you
brand
do
new
that.
flavors, but as like a once, every now and then kind of thing, not every single bowl. Also, grape nuts. So that's what crunchy nut and
I'm
what is
not
grape
even
nuts?
sure what they are, to be honest. I'll have to look it up. Kurt was like, oh yeah, I fucking love these. I don't think he said fucking. I think I've
No.
embellished that. But I was just like,
Tell
I'm
you
not
what,
sure
I'll
I've
tell you
seen
what.
these in shops.
I will say that to Kurt. I'd rather have a bowl of Cocoa Pops.
Okay.
All right.
On that bombshell.
Yeah, that's it for questions.
Socials, please.
Oh, James has had enough.
Yeah.
He's right though. Socials, please.
Okay, yeah. So we stream us live on twitch.tv/TCGSco. That's also we can watch James's 5 fresh cuts while you still can. If you miss the streams live,
Can still be bothered.
if you miss the streams live, you can go to YouTube, search TCGS, and you can see all the VODs for various streams and this podcast as well. If you've got an Amazon account and a Twitch account connection, you get a free sub with that with your Twitch Prime gaming subscription, give it to us because we really, really appreciate it. Everyone who does that, we really, really like you. And we don't like everyone else who doesn't support us like that.
Yeah, well, you lot, I looked up and James gave you a look as well then. That was weird, right, James?
Yeah,
We will really, really like you. That's TikTok influencer style.
Oh, is it? In what
Yeah.
way?
Just
I
begging.
don't really do TikTok because I feel
We
like
will
I'm too
really,
old.
really like you.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we're on Patreon, patreon.com/TCGS if you want to support what we're doing and get monthly bonus podcasts and talk servers. It's all on there. We're on Blue Sky. It's at tcgs.co on Blue Sky, and you can find our Blue Sky names on there as well. And the website is tcgs.co for the gorgeous Discord community, socials, podcasts. It's all on there.
None
in the
of them
store.
are gorgeous. We will catch you next week for the Game of the Year show 2024. It's the big one.
Oh, I'm gonna be sick.
We hope you have a lovely week.
I feel sick already.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Fuck off.
Thanks for living it. Thanks for living it.
Goodbye.